Oh, damn it.
GERD kicked into full overdrive.
Oh, so it's Capcom's fault, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not the White Claw.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it was definitely white. I drank like in White Claw's defense. I drank like
White Claw's defense.
In White Claw's defense, I drank like 16 of them over the course of 6 hours.
Yeah.
But
you have to because your body just metabolizes it so quickly. You just got to pound them. It's the only way to do it.
But the thing is though, like I had the hiccups for like 45 minutes straight. I had like a reflux issue that night while I was streaming. And then like it persisted for the last over 24 hours. It's been 24 hours since I've had a sip of White Claw. And I can still somehow smell that last sip, the sip that did me in, of the black cherry White Claw, which I think...
Oh, I hate black cherry.
I think it's almost as bad as the lime. It's really... Variety pack number one
I
is...
like the lime. I'm into the lime.
Lime gives
everybody
me heartburn
likes the
really
mango.
bad.
I'm not that into the mango.
I fuck with the mango.
But the raspberry.
I was going to say, we can all agree
the
here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Raspberry. Tasty.
Yeah. When I get the
chef's
hiccups, it's like the most emasculating thing in the world. Because I don't just hiccup. Like, I do the same thing that any, like, 2-year-old toddler does, where, like, my whole body sort of does, like, a worm vertically. It's, like, every single time. I hate when I have the hiccups. It's, like, the most embarrassing thing every time.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine that 45 minutes straight while you're live with like everyone asking, like every new person who joins in, hey man, you okay? Like, no, this has been going on forever. And the thing is, like, I was blackout drunk when I got the hiccups, and I had them until I ended the stream. So
I've been there.
I'm like 99% sure that I ended the stream because the hiccups just pissed me off. I was like, all right, I'm fucking going to bed. I'm done.
Bro, there was a Super Smash night where I was surprised Super Smashed, and I got hiccups around, I don't know, like midnight or something. And there's like, people have clips of me like not being able to stop hiccuping. And like at one point I tried to just lay back in my chair and I was like, all right, peace. And I just like reclined all the way back.
Yeah, I did the napkin trick where you put like the napkin over the head of your pint glass of water.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what? What is the napkin trick?
The head is right here, boys. The head is the rim of your glass. What you do is you take a paper towel.
Anatomy of a Glass with your host Scott Kelly. Welcome.
Former bartender, current alcoholic Scott Kelly here.
Well, you were just practicing for the big show.
Yeah, I'm basically Billy Mays, but I'm not dead. But I wish I was. You know what I mean? Like if I could do one of those like Ryan Reynolds, Jamie Lee Curtis body swap movies right now, the dead celebrity, I would do it. I'd be dead Kurt Cobain. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they start already.
Yeah. Well, this is episode 27, so
it is, boys.
We are officially in the 27 club, y'all.
That's right.
Get your double barrels out.
How are we gonna do it? Is the question. How are we gonna do it?
Real.
How are we gonna? I have a feeling if I have another single sip of White Claw, I'll just fucking die. Like,
right.
That's probably the easiest way to go
It'll
about
be
it.
Your last hiccup.
Yeah.
Our 27 club is a collective death by heartburn.
Yeah.
Too much of the sauce.
Do you think that's why Kurt Cobain did it? You know, like he couldn't even eat a meatball sub or a jalapeno pepper without burping and gagging on his own burp.
Yeah, his doctor handed him the anti-GERD diet. He was like, is there even a point anymore?
No cheese, no spicy, no salt, right?
Look, all this money and fame isn't doing it for me. This GERD diet's not helping either. Let's just call it a day, huh?
Yeah.
Have you seen who I'm dating?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, if you had a choice of either killing yourself or fucking Courtney Cobain, I'm sorry, Courtney Love Hewitt, we all know what we would do.
Yeah, promptly kill myself.
there's no joke there, just a harsh reality.
I have no.
That man's dick must have stank all the time. She looks like she hasn't showered since he died. It's fucking horrific.
Yeah, she's not looking great. She's not looking great.
No.
Kurt Cobain's penis is the suspiciously cheap apartment in Fishtown. No, why is an apartment so cheap? Have you smelled it lately? It really smells like Courtney Love in here.
No.
That's now the metric for like whether or not to buy an apartment. How much it reminds me of Courtney Love.
There's a new indicator on Zillow.
Yeah. Where does it land on the Courtney Love factor?
It's like, well, there aren't any needles in the apartment, but there's a lot of them surrounding it right now. So.
That's a lazy garbage man. That's what that is. Couldn't get them all the way to the curb. We have some fun stuff.
I don't know if you're familiar with Fishtown, Chris. But from that last sentence, I don't think you are.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I just made a fish reference because.
Imagine if Pinhead, instead of nails, had hypodermic needles in every part of his face, and that's 90% of the pedestrians, the street traffic in Fishtown and Kensington.
Okay.
All right.
So then,
it's a good mental image.
But then I feel like really. that kind of means I was right though at the same time, doesn't it? Like, isn't that the image we're painting? Courtney Love,
dirty,
couple of needles,
heroin, pedestrian, trash cans.
She ran a couple 5Ks. Hasn't showered in between.
She didn't run any 5Ks.
No.
Well, she paid $5K for a couple of lines of something.
Yeah.
Back to back.
I was gonna suggest that she did 1,000 lines of K or 5,000 lines of K. It's ketamine, boys.
The K stands for ketamine, boys.
Yeah. She's not eating Frosted Flakes. You know what I mean?
She shops at a very different Kmart than the rest of us. Ah, shit. We have a lot of main topics this week. Yeah. I have watched so much TV this week.
Well, one less now, really. I'll take that out.
Boop. I put the numbers together, and I was like, wow, Scott and I couldn't help ourselves with Dark, but I gotta tell you, towards the end, I'm like, all right, just wrap this motherfucker up. Let's go, boys. I gotta go to bed. I loved every second of it, but I was like, okay, but maybe I shouldn't agree to 2 seasons of television before next week's podcast.
That's why when you guys said that, I was like, all right. I was like, that's a lot to get done, but hey.
The first season I was doing it at such nice intervals. I'd watch like 2 or 3, especially with the subtitles on, because you really have to. It's not like I can like play WoW or play a game and just like listen and then like, oh, really good part is happening. Let me actually watch. Yeah, I have to sit there and read the fucking, But I tried a couple times, and I think I left subs on too long to even taste the dub sandwich. I couldn't do it. I tried like once or twice in season 3, so I could just listen and do something else at the same time. And I turned it on, and I was like, I don't know who any of these people are because they all sound totally fucking wrong to me. I'm like, who's talking? Is Bartosz? No, it's not Bartosz. Nope. Oh, okay, it is. That's weird.
But bravo for remembering Bartosz's name. I mean, he's really the most. He's the appendix of the cast. You know what I mean? Like, he really could have gone, and it would have been okay. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, I have lots of thoughts about the show as a whole, and about season 2 and season 3 individually.
Excellent. I can't wait to get into it.
I've categorized my thoughts for you.
Boys, from time to time, you may see me run out of frame.
Okay.
And that'll be because I'm going to get a big old sip of water because the GERD it's unrelenting.
All right.
And cruel, very much like the. Never mind.
Well,
there's another Courtney Love one, but it's
I knew it. I want to hear it now.
Today's not about her. This is about Kurt. This podcast is dedicated to Kurt
guys,
Cobain.
Please, can we stick to trivializing his death instead of Courtney Love's life? I would really appreciate that.
I have several friends who, despite all evidence, still think that she did it.
Yeah,
like legitimately.
Yeah.
I just want reasons. I want reasons to hate her more than I already do. You know, it's dogpile, right? Like this, like we talked about it with the Snyder Cut. The second one thing in the script seems unrealistic or ridiculous or cheapened, which is literally everything. Every word I use there I would use to describe Courtney Love all the time, forever and ever and ever into eternity. Hole also sucks.
Well,
Hole's. No, I don't like Hole.
We already did this.
We've had this conversation.
Disagree.
The balls it takes to name your band after the one thing no one wants to associate with you.
Jesus Christ. We're off to a great start today, boys.
Yeah, I would hate to see her hole. I have to back you up on that. Any of them.
The thing is, like, which one do you think's worse? You know, of like the two that are unavoidable on a red carpet in 1999.
Like, judging by the ones we can see all the time. Like, we can see the mouth, and that doesn't look good. And usually the mouth on other people looks perfectly fine. So you can imagine once you get downstairs. Can't be a good situation. Also,
Yeah.
we haven't
Fighting-
seen that dirty pussy. Or what did we say last week? Fat, greasy pussy. Since at least like 97. So we have like 24 years of just like fungal growth to account for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got to be like trying to pick apart a Brillo pad, right?
I'm imagining this. Imagining that somebody threw like an Arby's roast beef sandwich into a bear trap.
Oh no.
Let's be real here. Arby's isn't appetizing in the first place. You know what I mean? Like,
Even when it's fresh.
yeah, even when Arby's is fresh, you don't want it. But like bear trap out in the woods, wildlife. Like we're talking bear trap, roast beef, second harvest. Courtney Love.
Oh.
Don't make me do it.
Welcome to the Cynical Nerd podcast.
Woo! Boys,
Pretty good.
boy, howdy. How are we today? I am joined, as always, by Derek, drinking out of a Fat Cat mug,
No,
and Scott.
no, it's a corgi.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay,
it's a corgi.
please.
Sorry, you tricked me. You looked like a kitty. You showed me that before, too.
I
I
did.
still fucked it up.
Yeah.
Derek, how are you this fine April day?
It's
I
a
had to think
fine
about it.
April day. I'm being just ravaged by allergies today.
Yeah, I feel
But
it.
besides that, doing wonderfully. We have some good stuff to talk about in here. I'm actually excited to see everybody's thoughts on Knives Out. I know we already covered
Me
Dark,
too.
so yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Word. Scott, how are you this
Uh,
day?
I feel like I ate a bunch of fire ants, and they built a tiny world in my esophagus, going about their everyday life, like specks of dust, really insignificant to everyone else in the entire world but me. To which they cause never-ending, unending, fiery, stabby pain, death, and I want to eat
Yeah.
more toothpaste. I want to eat some toothpaste.
Fiery stab.
Did the toothpaste help? I'm curious.
A little bit, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, but I mean, gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm having a
Right.
hard time maintaining my train of thought though, because I feel like it's subsiding now. I feel like the GERD's retaking.
You just gotta have a fucking tube right next to you, your emergency tube, to just fucking chug right on the
Oh,
fucking
God.
YouTube video.
I feel like I'm watching the creation of a like trivia question related to the Cynical Nerd podcast. Like, in which episode did Scott eat from my tube of toothpaste? Table 3. You're right. Free beer. This is episode 27. I don't know. It's probably going to be some kind of thumbnail reference to Kurt Cobain. Hopefully, not that bad. I've been looking back at our catalog here, and I'm like, we very often are on such a fine line.
It's been at least 27 jokes about Kurt Cobain, I'd say, at a minimum.
Yeah.
I would like I mean, I know this is probably going to be hard to pull off, but I would like to perhaps in some way insinuate that it was a nasty, disgusting heroin pussy queef from Courtney Love that actually caved in the front and shot out the back of Kurt Cobain's head. Have you ever
Or
been
at least
69
pull the
have you
trigger.
ever-
He was just cleaning the barrel.
have you ever been like 69ing with your girlfriend and like, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but when we all come, our buttholes pucker like Acme horns. Like, you know, when you squeeze it, like the big old the mouth comes out, like from time to time, someone might toot when they're coming. You might toot
Every now and then. Sometimes you get a toot. Sometimes it's a package deal.
I'm just picturing a scenario where Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love were 69ing. She came and farted directly into his face. And when she looked back, it was like season 1 of The Boys when what was her name? Fucking
Pop Claw, yeah. And she was like, fuck.
But like Courtney's like a disgusting bitch, so she doesn't even acknowledge she farts. She's like, that was good, thanks, and just gets up and walks away. And then she finds Kurt later and thinks it was suicide.
Right, like she doesn't even know. She never even picked it. She genuinely believes he shot himself.
You gotta stop.
Oh, rip Chris.
I can't.
Watching Chris laugh makes me laugh twice as hard.
I know.
It's actually painful right now. Like my sides ache. muscles my fat ass doesn't use on a daily basis. Oh, fuck. Boys.
All right.
Yeah, let's get into it. Ooh, now that I'm started crying already before our first weekend review news. Okay, boys.
We really burned like 10 minutes on Courtney. Courtney loves nasty pussy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Time well spent, boys.
I'd have to agree with you.
Hard to regret.
All right, so first off is just a piece of weird, fun, I don't know, whatever. Kind of depends on how you feel about LeVar Burton. As you all know, our main man, Alex Trebek, passed away a little bit ago. They've been doing...
That's one death you can't make a joke about, really.
Yeah, no.
No, yeah. Not like
Not
Jim
for
Varney.
like 10 years. Like, give it a little while, and then maybe if a Jeopardy-related joke that's real light, you could squeeze it in, but nothing dark. Not for at least 20 years.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as long as the joke, the answer to the joke, if it's like, you know, like a setup and a delivery, is answered in the form of a question, I think you can probably pull it off.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
What is the river Styx for 300? Mr. Trebek?
Oh no!
Boys, fuck me. I have like literal like condensation in the corner of my glasses because I was crying so fucking hard. Anyway, so they've been doing these rotating hosts of different celebrities. The longest running contestant, Fuckface McGee, I forget his name. It's irrelevant to this.
Yeah, I know the one you're thinking.
And now,
God,
my man LeVar Burton from fucking Reading Rainbow and Star Trek The Next Generation has been kind of campaigning for himself to be the new host of Jeopardy, and I'm totally fine with this. I don't have a problem with LeVar Burton. I grew up watching him on TV. Sure, why not? Who cares? No one's going to be able to fill the weird blue TV screen shaped hole in my heart that Alex Trebek left. So might as well be LeVar Burton, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's going to be anyone, it should be, I don't know. Everybody loves LeVar.
The thing is, like, LeVar has, in the same way that Alex Trebek had, like, a squeaky clean record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, from what I know of LeVar, which is very little, I'll be honest. I'm gonna put that on Front Street, as Chris would say. I know very little of LeVar Burton, aside from his work in Roots, Star Trek, and The Reading Rainbow. But, like, they had Dr. Oz hosting, right? Dr. Oz isn't even a fucking doctor. I'm Dr. Scott, by the way, now. Everyone has to address me as Dr. Scott.
What's that based on, Scott?
Sheer fucking willpower, and me being so petty that I'll be a dick about it if you don't.
I'll do it. I like it, Dr. Scott.
Yeah,
it kind of flies
just for this
out.
episode, though, right? Or just maybe just for this segment.
Maybe all
I
time. I
already feel like a fraud and like a pompous piece of shit. I imagine. It's probably hard for Dr. Oz to look himself in the mirror every day. And LeVar Burton is a pop culture icon. The bar is already so low. You have former contestants hosting. Why not just give the man a fucking paycheck?
Yeah, Ken Jennings, which is really an insult to Alex, isn't it? Like, he was just tired of seeing that guy at some point. I mean, anybody would be.
Right.
Really just kind of pisses on the grave of Alex. So, LeVar Burton, I'm all for it.
Nice. I don't know how, on the Scoot scale, I don't know how funny you guys think Stephen Colbert is. I happen to find him quite funny. He tweeted about it. I think LeVar Burton should just host Jeopardy as Jordi LaForge, and the buzzer should be Facers, and Data should be the judge, and it should be in space, and also just be Star Trek. It made me laugh. Whatever. I don't often read fucking tweets, but
how funny would it be if LeVar Burton beat the fuck out of Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, that would be funny.
I'd
like Jeopardy.
No, just like in the streets of like just fucking sees him out in public and just kicks his ass.
That's the first thing that he sullies his record with.
Yeah.
I would
set these hands to stun.
Oh shit!
Don't ever again.
No, I think it was A+ joke, bro. A+.
I knew Chris would appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I think he should do it after he gets the Jeopardy job, just so you know how serious he is. Like, he just got the gig. It's going to give him a paycheck for the rest of his life. Because, let's be real. LeVar Burton's not sure where his next paycheck's coming from right now.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What's he doing? So,
being a big old honey all the time, anywhere he can. Got a problem with that, Chris? Is that enough?
Yeah,
not enough on the resume for you?
Enough. On the resume, resume from French, I believe. So fans started a petition Yes, that was the Zack Snyder Justice League reference. To make LeVar Burton the new host of Jeopardy. It's like 250,000 signatures so far. So yeah, what all I'm saying is let's do this. And then also have him fight Stephen Colbert to the death.
Yeah.
I think that's the proper
Who is
timeline.
a bitch? Yeah.
All right, we've talked enough about that. Couple trailers this week, actually, gentlemen. There's a new trailer that came out for Army of the Dead, which is Zack Snyder's direct to Netflix film with our boy Dave Bautista in it. Comes to select theaters in Netflix May 21st. Scott, how'd you feel about the new trailer?
I hated it.
Did you?
I hated it so much, yeah. They're doing that fucking thing that every zombie movie does where they have to, like, become organized and be like people again. What's the fucking point? If they're smart enough to organize and strategize how they're gonna kill people, they can't figure out how to maybe, like, I don't know, cook food instead of eating people? Like, where's the fucking line? It's stupid. It's dumb. I guarantee you in this movie there's gonna be a zombie riding a motorcycle over a fucking jump. There'll be explosions. It's gonna be
dressed
so
up
stupid.
like Evil Knievel. I'll put money down on that.
Yeah. It's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be fun to watch. The cast looks interesting. I believe I saw Tig in there. Tig Notaro.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the second I saw zombies with any kind of like, it's Land of the Dead all over again, isn't it? Didn't we learn anything?
No.
That's the answer to that question, by the way.
Yeah. Straight now.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Derek, how'd you feel about it?
I think it looks really dumb. But I think that there's value to it. I think that it's the perfect movie to get together with the boys and get shit-faced and just laugh at and enjoy the just over-the-top action of it. Like, I don't think it's going to be a totally completely devoid of value. Like, I think it has a dumb fun factor to it. But there's not going to be a point that's made, right? Like, there's no way. Like, there's no points to be left to be made in the zombie genre to begin with. But you can tell even from this trailer, there's not going to. But I don't think that it's trying to. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lesson about the human condition. It's just badass people with guns shooting zombies, and it's Snyder. So I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be a good thing to sort of get together, get drunk, and laugh at.
That's fine. So here's my problem with it. The trailer looks fun enough, right? It looks like it might be dumb fun. I was okay as the trailer starts to come into focus and you see like what they're going for. I was okay with some light organization within the zombies, kind of like what they did with I Am Legend. Like there seems to be like one that the others follow or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And then
but you said it yourself though, it's something stupid like that. It's fucking stupid.
You were waiting for that, weren't you?
No, I mean, but you know it's bad.
You're waiting for your on-ramp on the highway of my conversation. I see how it was. But here's the thing. It gets worse and worse.
There is an accident ahead in this conversation, Chris. 25-minute delay ahead. Yeah, it's going to be rough.
It gets worse and worse, though, right? So, like, some basic, like, acknowledgement to another zombie of, like, let's eat them. That sounds so stupid in my head.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I'm just going to roll with it. Let's eat those guys. That's fine to me. But then they showed like two zombies head to head, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like in a loving type manner or something. And then they showed one on a fucking horse, like wearing a metal mask. And I was like, what is that? Yeah. Come on. That's dumb. Like I you can get away with a little bit. Sure, maybe they're hive mindish or there's some residual memory of like hierarchy, but like not the horse shit. You think a horse would sit still for a fucking zombie? Are you kidding me? What? That's the dumbest shit. I don't know. Obviously,
I'm with you there. I feel like when they did 28 Days Later, however long ago that was, because it was a long time now, they kind of flipped the script. Zombies have always been like slow and lumbering, and then they made them like, oh, it's a rage virus, so they're just fast and they lash out and it's like all base instincts. And I thought that was a cool way to explain that away. But I agree. When they like retain some sense of their agency where they're like, yeah, let's get the humans, guys. Like it's very dumb. I agree.
Braveheart vibes in it. And I hated every second of it. But Chris, let me ask you a question. Are you saying that you don't find it to be acceptable to see two zombies showing affection? Like two zombies in love? Are you some kind of new age horror bigot.
I feel like I'm missing. Where's the trap at? I feel like I'm missing the bear.
No trap. Just answer the question.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think it should be perfectly acceptable for two sentient adult zombies. I mean, not like a little kid zombie and adult zombie. That's still gross. But like two consenting adult zombies of any gender, race, or level of decay to fall in love and make love.
Yeah. Do you think that zombie couples go to heaven, Chris? That's my follow-up question. Or is there an alternative place that they go?
Is this like the horror version of All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Zombie sex though. Is that going to be a thing? We have zombie head rubs and hugs. Are we getting zombie sex?
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, all right, go ahead. Is this Courtney love related? Because I was about to ask you the same question.
What do you think smells worse?
Yes, it's like you're I'm going zombie sex. Zombie sex.
That smell?
Zombie sex probably smells a lot worse than Courtney love, but it's because decomposing flesh, trapped air, you know.
Yeah, but like, what if it's at the end of like a 7-day binge, like a heroin binge, and she's been in the tub for like 3 days, passed out?
I still gotta go with the
marinating.
the decomp queef. It's probably gonna smell a little bit worse.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking weeks in the desert, you know, dry heat.
Fucking Hmong princess, you know, just fucking.
Oh no, God.
No,
wait, is it Hmong? I thought it was munch this whole time, like with a j at the end. Is it Hmong?
I think you're thinking manje, like eat.
Manje. I thought it was munging, but okay, munging. All right, I got it.
I'm going by episode from South Park season 2, where they dig up Kyle's grandmother.
Yeah, I believe your reasoning. I'm with you. I trust you enough to, as a linguist, to know the proper pronunciation for this. So I'm comfortable with that.
I'm just trusting Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Okay,
as you should.
As we all should.
As we all should. All right, moving on. Next trailer, we have a weird one that I caught. Thought it was interesting enough to at least watch the trailer for it. I don't know if I'll watch the film for it. That remains to be seen. There's a movie coming out called The Waterman. I hadn't heard of it before. It's in theaters May 7th, starring David Oyelowo. All right, Derek.
I'm so fucking mad at you for making us watch a trailer for a movie called The Waterman.
Why?
Sorry, Chris, please
I thought it was gonna be like the pee pee poo poo man or the stinky butt man at first. And then when I realized it was just on that bridge to Terabithia bullshit we were talking about last week, I was even more angry because now like I can't get my 3 minutes back, and I'm not gonna watch it even to make fun of it because a little kid's gonna die of cancer at the end, or or Rosario Dawson's gonna die of cancer. Someone has cancer.
Yeah. At least Rosario Dawson is gonna die of cancer for sure.
I feel like we had a mental link this week, Scott, because literally when I saw this trailer, I went, "This reminds me of Bridge to Terabithia." We just talked about it last week. Rosario Dawson. I'm gonna butcher this kid's last name. David Oyelowo, sure. Lonnie Chavis. Alfred Molina, oddly. I was like, oh, hey, you're alive, right? Also, because you're going to be in the Spider-Man 3 film. We all know it, and I wish you would stop dancing around. It starts off very much like this is going to be kind of a horror movie, which is why I thought the trailer was kind of neat. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but it turns very much into like a kid empowerment, family love type film. And I was like, okay, I don't know. I'm going to make these guys watch it. Fuck them.
Yeah, Eric, good move.
Yeah, I could really tell when I was watching that you had no respect for me anymore.
Yeah, that's what I literally my first thought was like, we're really going to talk about this. This is what we're going to talk about this week. What do you say about it? Oh, I really liked the part where he had the samurai sword. That's it. That's all I have. Bro. That's it.
That part's legit. Look, I'm trying to put some varied topics in here, okay? I feel like all I ever zero in on is superhero stuff.
Fair play.
And I'm trying to, no family-friendly movie. Okay, no Homeward Bounds, no.
I mean, Homeward Bound is objectively
is
a masterpiece. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know this is basically an impossible question because we are already in our 30s and can remember fondly. If Homeward Bound didn't exist until today, and I showed you the trailer for the first time, you'd never seen it, wouldn't you be like, what the fuck are you asking me to watch right now? This is like,
well, of course, because like
Bridge to Terabithia movie.
These production companies did not know how to cut a trailer until like 2005. I mean, for all of cinema, they had watch a trailer for the greatest fucking movie, but it came out in 1998. It's the stupidest trailer in the world. It's awful. They had no idea how to cut trailers.
With the exception of The Sixth Sense, that trailer slapped.
I don't remember it, but I'm gonna watch it now. I'm gonna do that.
That trailer, like, I mean, it gets your little 12-year-old heart fluttering, you know?
The real embarrassing thing is going to be like, what if I put this on one afternoon and it ends up just being incredible? And then I have to admit that to you. Because right now I'm very confident that it's going to be really, really dumb. It's called The Waterman. I mean, what else do you, where else do you go with that?
Yeah, the name makes me not take it seriously. Because, like, that's literally, like, that's legitimately what, if this was called anything else, I'd be like, all right, it's not for me, but it exists. That's fine. But the name of this movie makes me hate it. I can't look at it objectively. I have so much internalized hate between, like, the bye-bye man and the tall man and the sleepy man and the empty man.
Yeah.
Those are all real movies. And why?
It could have been called They're in the Woods. They could have called it Through the Woods. All right. That's intriguing. I'm into that. Waterman. It just makes me think it's a sequel to Waterboy. And then when it wasn't that, it was doomed to fail from the beginning. When it wasn't that, I was just like, I'm out. Nuh-uh.
Look, I don't want Adam Sandler to revisit any of his old roles, but please, for the love of God, make that fucking movie. Make Waterman.
What if
looks like Mama's wrong again?
That very last shot where it's like him under the bed hiding in his feet, it just pans up and it's just Bobby Boucher's face under the hood. Oh my God!
All right, so what do you think smells? What do you?
High quality A2.
All right, so listen. What do you think smells worse? Vicky Valancourt or Courtney Love?
Courtney Love.
Yeah, okay. I would 100% lick Vicky Valancourt's armpits before I would even step foot in the same room with Courtney Love Hewitt.
I'm not saying Vicky Valancourt smells good because she lives in the swamps of Louisiana, so it's got to be bad, but still better than Courtney Love. Yeah.
Louisiana's, before you get all up in arms about it, you know you stink. It's your whole
You guys kind of smell like shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Okay. Guys, have you ever thought I told a really funny joke and now I should hire Mark Hamill and make a movie about it? Actually, sorry. Let me rephrase that.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but you can't even properly make fun of this when you just praise the last thing, kind of, sort of.
Don't leave me in this hole. Let's journey
How
forward
dare you
together.
stand where he stood?
Yeah.
Let me rephrase it. Have you ever told a kind of funny joke and then thought I should hire Mark Hamill and do a bit about it? I don't know if it's just me.
Right.
I don't find Bert Kreischer to be all that funny.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever told a joke that went viral and made you a multiple millionaire in your late 30s, early 40s?
Well, you know the answer to that, Scott. Why are you making me hurt so much?
I just
We're not
think
even at our late 30s yet.
I think, well, the thing is, like, I get it. I get why you're, like, about it. And truth be told, I mean, I'm not looking forward to it necessarily, but the idea that Mark Hamill signed on for a comedy means it's either going to be incredibly funny or it's going to be so bad that it's going to be something you can't not watch on a regular basis for. You ever see something that's so bad that you, like, kind of, like, get, like, a little fix for it? You know what I mean? You rewatch the same shitty sketch on SNL or the same shitty movie, like, 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No.
We just watched fucking Psycho Goreman, bro. You haven't rewatched?
No, but I want to.
Well,
but that wasn't
off,
shitty.
Bro.
That had
frig off.
Great callback. Holy shit.
That was good. That was good, Scott.
Legendary.
Well, so I would say that, sure, objectively, you could call that movie bad, but I would say no, because I wouldn't rewatch it if I truly thought it had no value. Do you know what I mean? Like the Ace Ventura movies, as this is my personal example. You see those as a kid, I don't know about you guys, but I thought they were the funniest thing fucking of all time. Like Ace Ventura 2, I always thought was funnier, unpopular opinion apparently, but I always thought it was funny. I grew up and one day I was like, I wonder how critics had reacted to that back in the day. They did not. Everybody fucking hated it. And I'm like, I'd still watch it. Like, so technically that movie is not considered great, but like I find value in it. I still find it funny. I wouldn't go back and watch something I actually thought was shit because there's no joy in that for me. So if I'm watching it, I find some value. Psycho Goreman was fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also bad. Like Psycho Goreman's really bad. I mean, it's intentionally bad, but there's different levels to camp. There's camp that works and camp that doesn't. You know what I mean? And I think Bert Kreischer, like, because he takes his shirt off, a lot of people like look at him like he's a moron. He's not a genius, but he is a very good businessman. You see the way he runs his social media. I think he
Bert Kreischer is a good dude. Like I want to say that. Like I can't get into his stand-up, but he is a good dude. And like I catch YouTube snippets of his podcast, and I think he has a TV show on Netflix right now or something that actually seems kind of interesting. Where he has
it was they did a thing the Cabin. It was him, Tom Segura, Nikki Glazer,
and they just like do shit like weird shit. Like they just get together and hang out. Like it seems fun. I just can't personally get into his stand-up, but he is a good dude. I agree with you there.
No, yeah, he seems like a great dude, but I feel like the best business decision he ever made was becoming really good friends with Tom Segura and staying very close to him. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the most backing compliment.
Tom Segura is one of the greats, though.
Yeah.
Tom Segura is amazing.
Yeah, like everything Tom Segura does is fucking hilarious.
Did you see the action figure he made for when he broke his arm?
Yeah,
they made a little action figure you can paint, and it's like a picture of Tom on the side of the packaging, like with his arm flailed out to the side. It's so good.
Yeah, he broke his arm and his leg playing basketball.
He broke his leg too. I thought it was just his arm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the leg was twisted too, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're seeing this live. Yeah, so he broke it on film and then just played it up like to the max, like making fun of himself. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, when's the last time you seen Mark Hamill in live action besides Star Wars? It was Cockknocker, right?
Probably.
And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So like,
probably.
I think I actually have a picture of the actual action figure I got to send to you.
Yeah, I have it here too. Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic. Sorry, boys. They're sending pictures in Discord of the action figures so we can all laugh at it. Also, so before we continue chatting about it, I've done a poor host job this week of explaining what we're talking about. We just start talking about something. There was an announcement that Bert Kreischer did a joke called The Machine, and it went kind of viral on the internet. I still don't really understand why, because I don't find the joke to be all that funny. But there is apparently rumors from the Hollywood Reporter that there will be a movie coming out based on that, inspired by the supposedly true story. Mark Hamill was cast as his father, and there was going to be something about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Scott, you were talking.
Well, the movie's supposed to, like, I think they're going to touch on what the stand-up bit was, but it's not just going to be a retelling of a 25-minute story. You know what I mean? Like, I personally think that the fact that story is 100% true makes Bert Kreischer probably one of the most interesting people in any room he walks into, because from the stand-up I've seen and from the podcast I've watched that he's a part of, his life is full of shit like this, where he just kind of, like, dumb lucks his way through situations where other people would end up dead, buried in a shallow grave in Moscow. And this dude just... He's writing. Well, they wrote the script where it takes place. Part of it is the original story, and then part of it is like modern day, where Mark Hamill plays his father in this. But like the Russian mob comes back for Bert because he's famous now, and they kidnap his father. So we're looking at like from the same director as Keanu, a similar kind of thing where instead of a cat being kidnapped, it's beloved American icon Mark Hamill. And to me, it's hard not to be excited about that.
Yeah,
at least the premise.
I did forget to mention the director, and I appreciate you doing that, because the director they have attached has done some pretty funny films. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't know. It's Two Bears, One Cave is a hilarious podcast.
100%.
So here's the thing. I don't necessarily I don't think that Bert Kreischer's obviously worked for the level of fame and notoriety he has, and for some people, that's their cup of tea. I don't personally like his comedy style all that much. However, I do feel like Bert and Tom work very good off of each other. Yeah. Like Bert was very smart in like, we play off of each other. It's like us. It's like us guys. Hey. He's like, I play off of you really well. We should be on the podcast. And Two Bears, One Cave is a fucking hilarious pod. Every episode, I'm usually in tears at least one time.
Yeah. Same with the Bill Burr podcast he does with Bill Burr.
I haven't listened to that yet, but I wanted to. Bill Burr and Burt, right?
Yeah.
Bill Burt. Yeah. Hence the name. I got you. Okay.
Nailed it.
Anyway, all right. We have another trailer to talk about, gents.
Oh, we do? I
don't have a whole lot of excitement about this one. And I really just, again, put it in because we just talked about Godzilla vs. Kong. And it feels like they're trying to swap up all those, or mop up all those extra doll hairs that they have lying around on the floor after that. Because it did surprisingly well at the theaters and on HBO Max. There is a new Godzilla anime coming to Netflix. It's not just I thought it was gonna be like one anime, like just a movie, but it's not. It's gonna be a 13 episode series coming in June. I don't know. I don't like anime all that much, and I really kind of care less about Godzilla. I don't know if that's blasphemous. Like, sure, he's fine. Yeah, popcorn, dumb fun. What's the fucking? There's no complex character development going on in a fucking Godzilla movie. However, this is a 13 episode show. Something's got to happen to someone in the show that is more than Millie Bobby Brown's character arc in that objectively terrible movie. I'm sorry. I didn't not. I know we already talked about it and like it.
It's bad. Real bad.
It's not good. And just on top of all that negativity I just spewed out, I also don't really care for anime all that much. Just the style in general. But that being said, I'm stop being a negative Nancy over here. Derek, any interest at all in this? How's this tickling your beard?
I missed this. I skipped over it in the doc apparently, and I'm glad I did because I have no interest in it whatsoever. I don't dislike anime as much as you do, but I would say that I dislike it 95% as much as you do. I think there are some really good ones out there, but I only like the A1 cream of the crop. And I mean, this isn't going to be it. Like there's almost no way. So, I mean, that's it. I missed this article entirely though. Like I must have just passed right over it. So I don't even know anything about it. But when you say Godzilla and anime in the same sentence, I just couldn't be more flaccid right now.
Could not be more flaccid. Scott, how about you? Samesies? Big samesies?
I mean, when I saw the title of the article, I rolled my eyes. And
I even went so far as to ask you guys if I should put this in there. And I think Scott was
Did
like,
you
yeah,
really?
go ahead, fuck it. Yeah.
All right, I missed that twice then.
Because I was like, I don't care about this, but it's, relates to Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm sorry to cut you off. But,
I'm pretty sure that you may have messaged me while I was in the middle of one of the drunk streams. And I was like, yeah, man, fuck it. Because I have no recollection of that conversation. And when I saw the title of this article, I was like, oh man, already?
Already?
More of this shit already. And then like I put the trailer on and I made it 10 seconds of the trailer and just closed out of it. I was hoping that you guys both would have enough to say that I could fake my way through this part and pretend that I had watched it. Now I gotta own up that I didn't do it.
No, that's fine. I mean, look, it's hard for us as a collective, as a podcast, to hide our disdain for weebs and weeb adjacent things. I mean, really, if you're still here,
why we never hide it whatsoever.
Then you're a masochist because you like hearing us just talk shit about you all the time. I don't know. It's just not for me. It's one of those things that like I truly, some people are like, it's just not for me. It's hard for me to. Sometimes it's hard for you to fathom. Like, how could that not be for you? It's fantastic. That's how I am with anime.
Yeah.
I understand. I've watched Samurai. Shit, I'm fucking it up.
Samurai Champloo, maybe Afro Samurai.
Afro Samurai.
Yeah. Samurai 7 was very good too.
Samurai Champloo.
I didn't see that one.
Cowboy Bebop is like an absolute banger.
Yeah, never watched it, but I've heard it's great. And I'm sure it is
perfect from start to finish.
You do owe it to yourself to watch Cowboy Bebop as a sci-fi fan. Honestly, it's good. Yeah. Everybody loves Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
it's just
same with Trigun, man. Like Trigun's a little bit more hokey, a little bit more like corny.
Another one I've heard of. Yeah,
it's not nearly as well done or stylized as Cowboy Bebop is, but it's still short and sweet, like 26 episodes, quick short run.
I never watched that one, but I've always meant to. So maybe I'll.
There's also, and I'm gonna offend everybody out there who likes it. There's I can't think of the fucking name of the movie. It's this legendary like studio.
Spirited Away.
Yes, Spirited Away. I was going to describe it by saying that GIF that everyone uses when they're sad, and it's the thing in the water and the waves hit it in the face. Anyway,
he's called No Face.
Yeah, so sorry, weebs. We usually talk a lot of shit on anime here. Like Chris said, if you're with us still, you're either a masochist or maybe you moved into a new neighborhood, you haven't met anybody yet, and you're real nervous to go around house to house getting those signatures you need.
Yeah. Oh, no.
So it's okay. It's okay. Just relax with us. When the podcast is over, it'll be too dark to go out.
No, we don't want you here either.
Yeah, no. But when the podcast is over, it'll be too dark to go outside. You can just put it off till tomorrow, and then find another excuse tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
call
also,
your PO. Call your PO. You gotta call that PO. You fucking.
Yeah, you can't get our signatures either. Don't ask. It's a no.
Yeah.
But so the last factoid I will spit out here before we move on from making fun of weeb culture and everything they stand for is that it's called Godzilla Singular Point, follows past Godzilla anime Netflix series.
It's called Singular Point.
Yeah.
The jokes write themselves, right? Like, I don't have to say it. You guys can all just...
We have Waterman and Singular Point right in the same week.
Anyway. SP, I'll refer to it as. Follows apparently a few other Godzilla anime things on Netflix that I did not know even existed. And they were not well received. Goes so far as some people call them eyesores. But I don't know. Apparently, this trailer was giving people who like anime hope, because it's mostly animation with only a little bit of CGI monster stuff, which was apparently the complaint about the last ones. Was too much CGI.
Yeah. Speaking of eyesores, I'd rather let Courtney Love give me butterfly kisses than watch this fucking show.
Oh God! Wow. All right.
Yeah.
You need to get some conjunctivitis after that. That's you're all right. You're going for it.
Mm-hmm. Remember the Kids Next Door where they were making pies out of people's eye crusties?
No.
That show? The show was fucked up. It was like this cartoon on Cartoon Network called Kids Next Door, and there was this lady who was giving everybody pink eye and then harvesting their eye crusties and then using it to bake pies.
All right, I thought that you were saying, I apologize for being so bewildered for just a moment there. I thought that you were saying, you know how that person next door, like everybody just has someone next door who makes pies with their eye crusties. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Scott?
I wish that's what I would have said.
That's a little less, that's a little more tolerable. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, Courtney Love has a vagina crusties that she has to get out every morning when she wakes up. Boys, speaking of vagina crusties, more movie theaters are going to close down. Womp womp.
Those two things aren't related at all.
Yeah. Wait, is one of the theaters closing down where Courtney Love's been living since the pandemic started? Is that how we're segueing?
She has her one designated chair and it smells so fucking bad they just had to close the whole thing down.
I'm just trying to continue my running joke from a couple of episodes ago where my segues have nothing to do with each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So ArcLight cinemas and Pacific theaters are closing down permanently. I bring this up so that we can revisit midway through. Jesus Christ, we are already midway through 2021, just about.
Oh God.
How we're feeling about the HBO Max model. Obviously, Godzilla vs. Kong did pretty well at the box office. It performed the best of anything since the pandemic started, and that's just a stupid popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Are we?
It's like if a flaccid dick could fart, really. You know.
Obviously,
Just useless and pointless.
I would say we all probably appreciate the theater going experience, right? Like Scott, I know you love going to a theater. I do miss going to a theater, but at the same time, I kind of love HBO's model of letting me watch that shit at my house when it comes out. Yeah. I don't like Disney's. I wanted to kind of take the temperature in the room again. It's been a couple months since we talked about it.
Should I turn around, Chris?
Yes. I don't know why I made that noise. I can do what I did for Derek earlier and just go Hulu.
Yeah, all I can do is picture Jeremy Renner's. I'm just picturing Jeremy Renner's ET fingers right now when you did that. I'll be right here.
For those of you who don't know, Jeremy Renner has weird clubbed fingers, and you should shame him for it.
Yeah,
because he deserves it for the album that he put out. That's
he looks like a Resident Evil antagonist. It's real uncomfortable.
It looks like they experimented on him, but just his fingertips. It's really strange. Derek, how do you feel about all these theaters closing? Are you kind of like, this is just the way of the world? Are you saddened by it?
It's not the way of the world. I mean, it's a compound issue, right? Because obviously this isn't happening because of anything natural. It's happening because they've been forced to
trying to say COVID was man-made, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Please check out my solo podcast. I'm just saying, like the mandates, the decreased capacity, all that. I mean, that's why this is happening. It's not like we're seeing an industry that died on its own. It died because something unprecedented happened. So of course it's sad. I do think that like we're seeing we've talked about it before, like some companies that are evolving and some that aren't. And so I would have liked to see more of them evolve into making some kind of like movie pass that you can watch at home. And I would like to see something like that, happen even after this is all over. You know, one of the things like that I've been thinking about is it's going to be difficult once Veronica and I have our kid, which is in 2 months, for me to review new movies with you guys. 2 months. Because I can't. I know it really snuck up. But I mean, I'm not going to be able to get to the theater, so I'm going to be missing out on a lot of the new releases. I do think that, people have wanted sort of the movie theaters to not have such an iron grip on new movies for a while. And so that's why some of these studios are kind of trying out new things that are seemingly working very well. But obviously it's fucking with their bottom line. So I don't expect that it's going to stay that way. I would love for it to, but at the same time, we're seeing a very huge industry that we all love and hold near and dear to us become seriously affected. So like I said, it's not really like there's not like a black or white answer to it. I'm not happy to see these movie theaters fail, but on the other hand, I'm like, well, if you had adapted better like some other places have, you likely wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, well, like the thing is, you see entire, like, especially in Philadelphia, you see restaurants that had, square footage enough to fit maybe like 30 or 40 people in their restaurant, who now have to use 2 parking spaces in front of their fucking bar for outside seating.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But theaters haven't attempted to do any, like, all these theaters I drive by and every parking lot's fucking empty. They haven't attempted to set up any kind of outdoor tents. They haven't kind of set up any kind of like projecting systems outside. I understand there's electrical equipment involved. It's a lot more dependent on the weather when you do something like that. But there's been no attempt to even, I have the AMC app. I'm part of the AMC Stubs Club. I'm still paying them, which is kind of fucked up. So I've been in like 3 movies this year.
Yeah.
But they don't even have options to rent or view movies through the app.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question?
With your unlimited John, which is insane to me.
What's all the hubbub about the Stub Club?
Oh God.
The hubbub about the half chub hog rub Stub Club? No, come on. Nothing? All right, I'm out here on the island by
Okay,
myself,
wow.
boys.
For a minute there, I actually thought that your video feed was like frozen. That was really, that was like
thank you,
Dennis Reynolds creepy. That was very well done.
Mm-hmm,
I didn't see it. Speaking of Dennis Reynolds, we never talked about his villainous turn in Arch Enemy last week.
Yeah,
we did.
In the
That's why I wanted to watch that movie too. It was because he was in it.
For the sake of having ADD conversations and literally jumping back to last week, I would just say I thought he did better than I expected him to in a very cheesy role. Still very over the top, very silly, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I just got my fingers crossed that AP Bio keeps going, man, because him and Patton Oswalt are fucking incredible together.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was good.
Me neither. I don't even know what that is.
The reason he left It's Always Sunny and like keeps coming and going is he's doing his own show. I believe it's on NBC, maybe. But I mean, check it. Two seasons are out and it's really good. It's really, really funny, really well written.
Nice. I honestly, Derek, you summed up my thoughts about the movie theater chains so succinctly that I don't have anything else to say. But that's exactly how I feel about it. It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I miss the theaters, but even me, and I don't mean to scare you, but even me with a 2-year-old, it's still difficult to get out of the house. I got to find a babysitter, or even weirder, I'm going by myself not with my wife. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that, bro.
It's gonna be, well, she likes movies too, so it's kind of like, well, sorry.
I love going to the movies by myself. It's the best viewing experience.
Yeah.
I like it now. I didn't when I was younger. I had some weird stigma.
Remember Knocked Up? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah. I know we're also on the Superbad territory because you don't want to be Steven Glansberg sitting by yourself at a fucking movie theater. But like, Paul Rudd just goes to go see what, like fucking Spider-Man or some shit? Like, he just had to get out of the house. And sometimes that's just the best, man. It really is.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. But anyway, what I was going to say is like, so it's difficult to get out of the house for that kind of stuff. And if things ever do go back to the way they were, which is that all new releases are only in theaters for a specific amount of time, it's going to be more difficult for me, like you said, to keep up on new releases in the same train, just because I have that little Rugrat down there. But moving on.
Scott's gonna have to take
Scott
cell phone videos of all the new releases and then send them to us.
Yeah, we'll get you like a little shoulder recorder, so you have to hold it the whole time.
I'll just wear a GoPro directly in the middle of my forehead and dare the fucking 15-year-old kid working concessions to say something.
Don't have
just
me,
put
bro.
it over your eye and say that it's an artificial eye, and when they like bring it up, get really offended.
Yeah,
I like that. You basically
you ableist sons of bitches.
Yeah,
tell them you cosplay as Cyborg.
Yeah.
Just daily life. Okay, so there's a new piece of news, superhero news. Now, originally I thought that this might be a little bit of a groan and an eye roll, and it still kind of is. However, there are two reasons I like this. One of which is, have you guys all seen Attack the Block?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope.
All right, that's my next recommendation whenever I have one. So Joe Cornish directed a film set in the UK called Attack the Block. It was actually, I'm forgetting his fucking name, the gentleman who plays Finn.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of like his first big break. He's in that film.
Oh, John Boyega.
John Boyega. It's a very fun movie. I don't want to ruin anything, but it's a fun sci-fi movie. Mm-hmm. I think you should check it out. Anyway, so that makes me excited because Joe Cornish hasn't done a whole lot. He did Attack the Block, and everybody thought he was going to go on to be a good filmmaker because Attack the Block was really good. And he only ended up directing one other film in 2019 called The Kid Who Would Be King, which I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's another Bridge to Terabithia groaner eye roller.
Is it?
The title implies. I'm not watching a trailer for that one.
What if it's called The Kid Who Would Be King and it's some fucking gore fest? Just it's like Psycho Gore Man, but like they're not trying to be campy about it. I mean, I know I'm not right, but just playing a little Marvel what if game here. Anyway, the other reason that I'm excited is that this is it's a story written by Mark Miller, who's had a couple good graphic series set sort of like a superhero background or superhero adjacent. So he's Mark Miller wrote Kingsman: The Secret Service, which those movies are based off of. Wanted was a series that he wrote. Kick-Ass was his. He's done a bunch of those like not famous DC or Marvel superheroes, but he's still done stuff in that universe. And he's doing a film based on one of his works called Starlight. And this is written and directed by Mark Miller himself. Joe Cornish is going to do it. I'll read you the synopsis, and then you guys can give me your thoughts. 40 years ago, his name is really bad. 40 years ago, Duke McQueen saved an alien world from destruction. Back on Earth, nobody believed his story. Now his kids are grown, his wife has passed on, his life has little to offer until the day a strange kid shows up from a world he once saved and makes an appearance, coaxing Duke to join him on one last adventure. Can Duke handle the leap from has-been hero? Oddly sounds similar to Arch Enemy, except for Duke's not a hobo. But Derek, what do you think about
that? Was the same thing I thought. I was like, that kind of sounds a little bit like Arch Enemy. But
this tracks.
I know nothing about this director or writer, so I just have to go off of what you're saying. Like, I trust your opinion, especially after we watch Attack the Block. I mean, it sounds like a slightly different take on the superhero formula, so could be cool, could be boring dog shit. I don't know. I guess I got to watch his other films first. I mean, I like the source material for as far as Mark Miller. I mean, I like Kingsman and Kick-Ass. I'd say I like them enough is how I would describe that. To be interested in seeing, another film that's sort of in that vein. Could be cool.
Or could be dog shit. Yeah,
or
totally
could be
agree.
dog shit. Yeah.
I think what makes Kingsman and Kick-Ass more interesting is because it's not your typical superhero fanfare, right? Like it's Kick-Ass. He literally is a superhero because he got beaten so badly and hit by a car that he doesn't have any nerve endings left in most of his body. And I mean, Kingsman is like, it's ridiculous and over the top, but also kind of like plays into that cool, like that weird little niche James Bond kind of vibe that we haven't really had a James Bond that felt bigger than, like, larger than life in a while, right? They're all kind of like more grounded about politics now and secret societies. I don't know, man. This just sounds like Al Gore the superhero to me. Like, I invented the internet. Why doesn't anyone believe me? like I just can't
I fucking hope they cast.
No, I saved the world though. Like, can you imagine like someone be like, no, you didn't, and then you argue with them? Like, what do you like? What the fuck?
Man, bear, pig.
Did he? I mean, it seems so petty to me that he's like, well, nobody believes me. I guess I'll have a family. Like,
Guess I'll be normal then.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like it though.
Like in all the time that you've been like just mowing your fucking lawn for 45 years, nothing's happened that you could have proven your worth like on this planet. Like you just been like, I don't know.
Does this guy show up and then he's like, just like, all right, and he just fucking abandons his family? Like, is it immediate? Does he not even think about it? He's like, ooh, vindication, and he just leaves him behind.
Yeah,
sounds like it.
You're gonna go buy a carton of cigarettes and never come back.
Yeah, like what if there's no pushback? Like he's like, I have a family now. Like none of that. He's just like, all right, let's go.
Fuck it, let's go. Thank God. I've been staring at the gun in the garage trying to Kurt Cobain myself for like the last 45.
Also, if he's a superhero that saved the world and nobody believes him, couldn't he just like pick up a car in front of them or something? Like, wouldn't that maybe clue them in a little bit?
It wasn't clear to me that he had powers. It just says that he saved an alien world.
Okay.
Well, I don't know anything about it, and I'm not going to look it up because on the off chance that it is good, Invincible has taught me that I'd rather be surprised.
I mean, it looks like he was some kind of like, I mean, the artwork I'm seeing here, it looks like he traveled to another world on a spaceship. It doesn't look like he like flew there like fucking Spider-Man or sorry, Superman.
I was gonna say, hang on a sec.
Well, I mean, Spider-Man did get a little bit of air in Infinity War, a little bit. I don't know, man. It just, yeah.
God, speaking of Spider-Man, like I said, I spot checked Civil War, and I told you guys that I did. In fairness, there were scenes that were really well done. But that airport scene is the fucking worst thing in the world, and Tom Holland's role in that, it's the worst part of it. It's by far the worst part of it. Just go back and watch it, and let me know what you think. They're all doing, in all seriousness, beyond the like Spider-Man debate, throw it out the window. That scene is like, it's like embarrassing to watch. Everybody's just doing flips. Like, remember like the Power Rangers? Whenever the bad guys would show up, they'd all just start like doing cartwheels and posing.
Yeah.
That's what that fucking scene is. They're just doing flips and varials for no fucking reason. It's like,
why did you just walk down those stairs?
Yeah.
Like you could have.
Yeah, just walk up and punch the guy. You don't have to like do a dodge roll. He doesn't have a gun. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, so next up, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Star Wars: The High Republic launched, I wouldn't say under the radar, but not with a ton of fanfare. It launched a couple months back. I think I bought the Bullies the first book. I didn't even finish it myself. I stopped like halfway through.
Yeah, I'm not halfway.
Not for lack of disliking it. I just started. I usually go through spurts where I listen to podcasts and then like books, audiobooks, and then I'll revert back to podcasts. And there's a couple that came out in the last couple months I've really been into. But that being said, Derek, I also love that you probably think we don't notice your clicks to make sure your mic is working, but I catch it all the time, and it's adorable.
I know you know. I mean, there's no way. Like,
cutie.
How do I make enough sound that my mic can pick it up to see the feedback without you guys also hearing that?
Right, yeah. Anyways, the Star Wars: The High Republic, the second wave of shit's coming out. And this is really just informational. We don't even need to talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. High Republic.
There is, though, Chris. There is.
Oh, is there?
I mean, it's not good, but this article, I was reading this earlier, something dawned on me.
Okay.
I think I need to talk to you guys about it.
Okay.
I think we all groaned when we saw Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens, right? When we saw another Death Star, we all kind of let out that like it was it was between a sigh and a groan, like where we were all just so emotionally defeated by the repetition taking place in front of us.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh shit, Stay Puft is back again, really.
Yeah. But worse though, because Stay Puft didn't come back 3 times or twice. Sorry, there weren't 3 iterations. I watched The Force Awakens this week and hated it so much, and that I went back and watched Jedi and hated it so much.
Oh wow! Okay,
I have a theory, and I need you guys to allow me to get it out. I think Star Wars sucks. I think it's all fucking awful. I think it's all bad. But there's parts of certain movies that work so well, and because of when we saw them as kids, it's kind of just it's baked in. It's baked into our DNA basically. There's bits that work. There's visuals that work in every single movie. There's scenes, fights, dialogue that work, but so much of it never fucking does. And I think even thinking back, like there's bits I like about the Mandalorian, but I don't give a shit about 90% of the characters on it. I think I don't like Star Wars anymore, guys. I think I'm over it.
Upon reading this article, something had dawned on me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to bring it up because I thought it would be this whole can of worms, but you just brought it up. I had that same thought where I was thinking back and I'm like, I don't think that I like Star Wars as much as I have for my whole life. Like I feel like I'm getting away from it, which is the craziest thing. And I think I've known it for years too, but I just didn't want to say it out loud because it's been such a part of my life for so long. But I'm reading, it lists like the different things that are coming out. I read like 2 and I was like, I don't care. I don't care about any of this. Like it's not like, all right, when Mandalorian season 3 comes out, am I going to watch it? Absolutely. The next Star Wars movie that comes out, am I going to go see it? Without a doubt. Like, I'm not saying I'm done with Star Wars, but I had that same, I was like, I think that I'm actually moving away from Star Wars now. Like, I think I'm tired of the formula. It's always the same thing. It's like, I can't shit all over the MCU for their repetitive formula, but then just forgive another franchise for doing the same exact thing. It's every fucking movie is the same. They recycled the same villains, the same plot points, the same arcs. It's just the same fucking thing again and again and again and again and again. And I'm with you. I can't believe that I'm saying it out loud, but I'm with you on that.
Feels good though, doesn't it? Does it feel
it kind of does. It does. Yeah,
like
a little bit.
Like what really was the eye-opening moment for me is that like we all just gobbled up Jedi. Didn't even like question that somehow this Death Star that had taken decades to build before was just rebuilt over the course of like 4 years?
Yeah,
4 years canonically in the timeline, and it's just like it's not finished, but it's fucking operational.
Yeah,
and it's like even that was just lazy. Like, what are we gonna do? Well, they're gonna build the Death Star again, but this time there'll be bears. Like, fuck you. Like, it's always been bad, guys. I'm sorry.
Just to be clear though, I'm not saying like I don't like Star Wars. I'm not saying like fuck Star Wars. No, but I am saying I don't like it nearly as much as I used to. 100%.
What I'm saying is, I think we all watch the ones we saw as kids through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
I think they're all consistently as corny. The dialogue is consistently bad through all of them.
Yeah.
It's just Harrison Ford was a much better actor than Hayden Christensen, right? Like, that's really what it comes down to. Go figure. A carpenter
I can hear Chris's heart breaking right now. I can just hear it shattering.
No, but it's just like, it's that realization that everything is repeated from the start. And like, as bad as the prequels were dialogue-wise, and as bad as the acting was, because George Lucas is not a great director, or a good writer. He's good at world building. Yeah. The prequels tell a much more interesting story. They just tell it so poorly that it's hard to enjoy it most of the time.
Yeah.
And I found this like leaking over because like I tried to watch the Clone Wars. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. I tried so.
I wanted to like. That's what I mean. But that's the whole point. It's like, if something's not interesting, it's not interesting. But you feel bad about it. You and I have we've had every couple of weeks we have this discussion. I tried to watch the Clone Wars, but I just couldn't. You feel like you have to. But it's like, what do you owe to this franchise? If they're not putting out something you're interested in, you don't have to feel bad about that. That's on them. It's not on you. Like, there's no like fucking clock in for being a Star Wars fan. I mean, like, if there's a decline, then there's a decline. That's what it is. I hope that it gets to the point it was before, if it was ever even there. I see what you're saying about rose-colored glasses, but
it was, but not specifically in the films. The old EU, the old like the legacy, or whatever the fuck they're calling it now. Before Disney had acquired Lucasfilm, a lot of the world building was done out through novels like Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Shadows of the Empire, like all these incredible novels where like they were made by writers, not just a guy who had an active imagination. And like that's this thing, like Lucas was an incredible creator, but we see in A New Hope and we see in Empire, someone else has the reins on him. It's like someone who's written scripts before and is like kind of like pulling the strings and like, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should change this. C-3PO originally I think was going to have a Southern accent, wasn't he?
Oh, no.
Wasn't it? It was going to be something bad. It was going to be something completely different. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm stoked for Mandalorian season 3, but I'm also at the point now where like, I don't really care enough about anything Star Wars to be like disappointed or upset by it. I'm just along for the ride. Whatever it is, I'll watch it, and I'll take what I can enjoy out of it at face value. And I think that's why I didn't even hate Rise of Skywalker as much as I rightfully should have. because I think I was already at that point. It's kind of like, this is going to be bad forever now. It's been sullied. You know what I mean? Like it may have never been as great as we had built up in our heads, but it's definitely going to be bad forever now because like this new era of the Republic that we're getting now, like, are we really going to get movies in this era? Like, am I supposed to pretend to give a shit about what happened 200 years before? Like, I don't care. I was invested in this one particular part of the story that you've now ruined the end of. I don't care how the beginning starts. Or I don't care what happened leading up to this because I already don't care about the end. I already hate the end.
Well, first off, thank you both for putting the cynical in the Cynical Nerd. I really do appreciate it. Look, I'm still a huge surprise Star Wars fan. However, no, I get what you're saying totally. I mean, falling away from so in this list, just to preface what I mean, in this list of the High Republic, all I care about is the big novels. I don't give a shit about I'm not going to read the fucking comic books. That's all ancillary to me. I don't care. It's not It's not required viewing. Technically, nothing is required viewing. You watch what the fuck you want. I think it's called The Rising Storm, just so I get that out of the way and I actually get the one piece of info from this article I wanted, which comes out June 29th. It's basically the follow-up to Light of the Jedi, which is the book we had gotten. No, I can totally see where you're both coming from. But to me, and you kind of said it, well, you did say it earlier, Lucas is not a good writer. He's not a good director. He's a good world builder. And to me, that's why I like stuff like Clone Wars, because all that does to me is flesh out the universe of Star Wars more. And I'm like, oh, that's where that's from. Oh, that's where this came from. Oh, that's the introduction of the B-Wing. The introduction of the B-Wing literally happens in Clone Wars. I was like, that's a cool moment for me. I like that. I'll remember that. I don't remember the episode it was in. It was probably forgettable as fuck. Who cares? But so I actually am looking for, I hope they do put movies in the High Republic, or it's thousands of years after the current trilogy, because even in that instance, maybe they will write brand new characters that I don't know and eventually can fall in love with and really, really love Star Wars again the way I did when I was growing up.
Right.
I agree. And honestly, to listen to Scott start his kind of like rant about Star Wars, I did feel myself get a little defensive. And I was like, well, hold up here. And I was like, no, his opinion's valid. But I also agree with, I would say like 80% of both of your opinions. I just am not as far away from it currently as I think you guys are. But obviously, still love Star Wars, still love his characters and the way they made me feel. The kind of sense of excitement or wonderment, I guess would be the right word.
Yeah.
For the universe at large.
I mean, there's still those moments, right? Like playing, Squadrons and being in the X-Wing or the TIE Fighter.
I gotta revisit Squadrons.
Yeah, there's still those big moments. Like I love playing a game where I get to be a Jedi.
Now too. I don't have those heating issues anymore.
Yeah, I love being a Jedi. I love some of the stories. Fallen Order proves that you can tell stories with new, interesting characters, and make us fall in love all over again. My problem is when you fast forward 1,000 years or rewind 200 years, I don't care about those time periods particularly, and that's just me. But it's like I would want to see different perspectives, smaller stories within the scope of the big story we've already seen, which is one thing that Fallen Order does so well. It takes place after Order 66, and you see him trying to find the archives of all these Force-sensitive children, so he can either rebuild the Jedi Temple or at least protect them from the Inquisitors and the Empire. And like to me, like that was such a good story because we get cameos from some of the big names here and there, but it's also a self-contained story where all these characters are given so much personality in life and you love them. Rogue One does the same thing flawlessly, start to finish. Every character in that movie you give a fuck about, even knowing that they're all probably going to die from the first frame of the movie. I want more of that. You know what I mean?
I honestly never thought they were going to die, which is why I was so happy when they did. Not happy like I wanted them to die, but like I didn't think Disney had the balls to kill off potentially new characters that they could sell toys for. I thought they were going to George Lucas them. Yeah. And then when they started dying, I was like, good job. That's the only movie. And we've gotten on such a weird Star Wars tangent. Not weird, but such a random Star Wars tangent here. We are the Cynical Nerd podcast. That's the only, I don't even know what my fucking point was. It was about Rogue One. I don't fucking
Disney making the decision to kill them instead of selling action figures by keeping them alive was your last spoken sentence.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with it though.
It feels like a genre film. It feels like a war movie.
I got it. It's the only movie that I can think of in recent memory where we knew about a lot of background drama. Like we knew some of that was reshot. We knew they even brought in like a different director towards the end, which was weird. That actually came out and was very well received and did well.
I thought that was Solo though. I thought Solo had the.
No, it started on Rogue One.
Okay, all right. I wasn't aware of that.
Tony Gilchrist or some shit like that was brought in to do reshoots for it, and there's a lot of like background conversation about how much of the original director. Like how much of who was used and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they brought it in to make some changes for sure.
I think you're right, though. I think it is possible to build a new world at any time period if they do it right.
Right.
It's just, I feel like it was such a missed opportunity to have episodes 7, 8, and 9 bring back all these characters we loved and then mistreat them in such a way where it did a disservice to every single character they brought back on screen from the original trilogy. It really hurt my feelings. I'm still...
Big sad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm ever gonna get over it, Chris. I think Star Wars, the Star Wars sequel trilogy, is my one that got away. You know, like that girl that you see, that like 65-year-old alcoholic with like 2 teeth and cirrhosis at the bar talking about, and like you want to be nice to him because he's old and he's alone, but his breath smells like Courtney loves pussy. So,
nice callback.
Got him. Yeah.
Wait, is that person at the bar the one that got away? That's
no. He's talking about the girl. He's talking about the girl that got away. And you're trying to be polite and like and you know be cordial and buy him a shot so his breath smells like whiskey instead of Courtney loves pussy.
Right.
But whiskey won't mask that shit.
Too pungent.
Rumplemints won't even mask that shit.
Yeah.
And my fear is
Courtney
I'm gonna be
loves
that
pussy is 200 proof.
I'm gonna be that 65-year-old guy at the end of the bar who won't shut up about how Star Wars was good when I was a kid. That's my fear. I'm right where I belong right now, I guess, guys.
Yeah, right where I belong. Moving on to some weird news. I don't know if you guys remember this. It might just be a me thing. This was kind of like a cult classic when I was in high school. Not a cult classic because it's not good, but there was a film called The Toxic Avenger, which came out. Oh fuck, I don't even remember when the original came out. From Trauma Films. It's supposed to be a very bad movie, and it is a very bad movie. But I remember watching it like it was like my buddies were like, "Oh, check this out." It was like you watched SLC Punk, and then someone was like, "I have Toxic Avenger." You know what I mean? Like it was like those movies.
Nah.
Those immediately bring back memories. And I remember watching it, and it was so stupid. And I can't honestly not even say that I liked it or even have really any memories beyond just being young and watching it. But they're rebooting it, and I didn't know that. I don't know why. Peter Dinklage is going to star in it, and they just announced Jacob Tremblay.
It's a little insensitive, doesn't it?
Oh no! It's so crazy. It's like The Toxic Avenger was made. It was like his fucking ultra low budget Z movie.
How insulting do you think that phone call is for the casting director? Peter, you want to we got this part for you. We think we'd be perfect for it.
So that's what I wasn't clear on. I mean, they said led by Peter Dinklage. Is he going to play the Toxic Avenger?
I think it's going to be a CGI Toxic Avenger. He's probably going to voice him. That would be my guess.
I'm into that.
Yeah,
I'm into the whole thing. I thought the original was fucking great. I don't remember much about it because I was blackout drunk every single time I watched it.
First off, Jersey Pride. It was based in New Jersey.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're proud of our toxic waste lying around everywhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's very true.
You're welcome.
All I remember about that movie is a part where like he's like a teenage kid in a car and he runs over like a, I don't know, 11-year-old kid. And just for no reason, he's like, he puts it in reverse and just beefs him. His head just explodes. And that's what gets the Toxic Avenger to like want to toxically avenge. Only fucking thing I remember about the movie. I remember laughing, just being in tears every time I watched it. The dude who did it did Blue Ruin, which I never watched, but apparently it's a highly celebrated movie. So yeah, fuck yeah. I'm super on board for it.
It's so weird that anybody said, let's do this, but give it more money, right? This was such out of left field. I had no idea this was happening. Lloyd Kaufman, I think, was the head of Traumaville. I think he was head of Trauma Entertainment. And I mean the original byline. We'll do a comparison here. So the original was a 98-pound nerd from New Jersey lands in a vat of toxic waste and becomes a benevolent monster, right? And we all know how the film played out. If you don't, you don't have to go watch it because it will be a waste of your time. But if you're bored and you want to watch a bad old movie, go ahead. In the new one, when a struggling
it's not
everyman
a waste of your time, go watch it. It's not a waste.
When a struggling everyman is pushed into a vat of toxic waste, he is transformed into a mutant freak who must go from shunned outcast to underdog hero as he races to save his son, his friends, and his community from the forces of corruption and greed. Both Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz, who co-directed the original, are set to produce. And I just, it's crazy. Like, who came to who with this idea? Do you think Kaufman was trying to like hawk his wares to people to get them to like pay him money? Or do you think like Blair actually has like a soft spot? Like, he grew up like we did and saw this and was like, you know what? I have a take on this that's not as dog shit as the original. Like,
I mean, it's hard to imagine somebody like coming to him and pitching him a movie without his consent first, right? Like, who'd sit down and write like a 100-page script about this dog shit movie without having the green light already?
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like, I saw the dude who runs Trovo on the last Blockbuster documentary on Netflix.
Right.
And he seems like a total cunt. He seems like just the biggest, most entitled, pompous piece of shit, considering what his repertoire is, what his back catalog is. And I also heard rumors back in the day that like he was really difficult when they did the Toxic Avenger musical, that he was like really pushy and unbearable.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the movie was bad, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I'll support the Dink in anything he does, because I think the Dink is incredible.
Except for in Destiny.
I liked him in Destiny too, man. I didn't mind it.
So bad in Destiny.
Well, if you like,
we've awoken the hive.
No emotion.
All right, well, let's be realistic here. Until Taken King, nothing in Destiny had any cinematic value or quality whatsoever.
Fair play.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
even then, it was like
Questionable.
30-second cutscene of Cade doing something cool, and then I gotta grind for another 45
Then I gotta just
minutes.
be me again. It's a nightmare.
All right, moving on from Tromaville, we have one last piece of news here, boys, before we get into our big swath chunk of week in review. Well, not week in review, of actual main topics.
It's a girthy meaty load this week, boys.
It is a girthy meaty load, and with that, Scott, as our resident horror fan, would you like to talk about this last announcement?
Awful.
Yeah. The Resident Evil conference.
Unacceptable.
The Resident Evil conference happened on Saturday.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, it wasn't really. It was a 45-minute video on YouTube. 25 minutes of which is the countdown till the event starts. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They announced Mercenaries mode for Resident Evil 8 Village, which looks dope. They showed some more gameplay. They released a timed demo for Resident Evil 8, which you can only play for 24-hour periods at a time. I guess they're working on it in between. And they announced what everyone thought was going to be the Resident Evil 4 remake is Resident Evil 4 in virtual reality for the Oculus and the Rift. Sorry, the Rift and the Quest 2. It looks about as good as it looked on GameCube. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great, which is kind of a bummer. You would hope that they would at least give it a little bit of a facelift.
Yeah.
But either way, man, like if it's under $30, they're gonna have my money, because I love that game so much, and being able to play it in VR with full functionality. I mean, that's kind of a dream come true. That's what GameCube was attempting to kind of give you the feel of, or not GameCube. The port to Wii was trying to give you the feel of back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a culmination of years worth of progress with VR and all that shit.
This makes me both happy and sad. I have 4 was big brain. I loved Resident Evil 4 a lot. I have very fond memories of playing that game on the Cube. Just hanging out on the Cube, me and my bros. I don't know why.
I hate it.
Playing the Re4 on the Cube.
Yeah, playing the Re4 on the Cube.
Guys, want to
What are
do
you mad
some
about,
reefer and play reefer on the cube?
Yeah, keep it going. I am excited about this because it looks, like you said, full range of motion. It's not like on rails or anything. It looks like a complete VR experience, which is great. I also am sad that it's not the remaster, because I want a remaster of that game. Very, very, very much so. But hey, I haven't been playing my VR headset even since I got my 3080, which I should be, which is why I said I want to revisit Squadrons, because I could probably actually stream it now.
Yeah. And
Squadrons in VR is the only way to play that game.
Oh my God,
I like
so
it
good.
regular, it just couldn't recapture the feeling of that VR just looking over your shoulder.
Hey, Derek, you should 100% sneak an Oculus Quest 2 onto your baby registry so I can buy that for you for your baby shower. That I get credit for buying you something really, really nice. Like something's like mildly impressive with the price tag, but also then you got a VR headset, man.
It's true. The only thing I had to say about this whole thing is that like I have to disagree with anything that is pushing me closer towards getting a VR headset, because that's an investment that I'm trying to put off for as long as humanly possible.
I'm not even kidding though. I feel like Ron would be okay with you guys putting that on the baby registry.
I think I'm not sure that Bye Bye Baby sells VR headsets though.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. I'm sure they sell. I'm sure they sell Amazon gift cards somewhere at Bye Bye Baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. But so the thing about Squadrons in VR is Squadrons is still a very fun game. And if you don't have access to VR, then you don't know what you're missing out on. So you might not need to play it in VR. But having played it first in VR and then being like, well, my computer couldn't really handle the game plus streaming it because my 1070 was having a heart attack. I like VR was it's just, you know, to look over your shoulder and see the wing and you're flying through an asteroid field. It's like, oh my fucking god!
Yeah,
woo!
I kind of want to do it right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fap City. Okay, yeah. So Derek, how do you feel about Re4 on the Cube?
That sentence, I hate it. It's just a physical reaction. It's like I can feel my chest getting tighter. I can't breathe every time.
So Scott, episode 27, Re4 on the Cube.
Oh no,
hell no, I don't think so.
Can it also be like, can it be cube like apostrophe cube, like you intentionally left out game? You know, come on, boys, rolling on the cube this week. I'm the only one on this train. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're alone. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, if it,
I'm used to it, Derek.
I just don't want anything to coax me into getting one of these. But it looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. It looks like, again, like you guys said, there were no graphical updates whatsoever in any way. But I guess that's not the point. They're just trying to, you know, make people be able to approach it in a new way.
I mean, when we're all Bitcoin billionaires, we can buy each other VR headsets on a Tuesday.
It's very true. We could just keep doing it just for no reason.
I think some of the funniest parts about this video are the comments where I'll read just one that I picked out. The scariest part of this trailer, you need a Facebook account to play it. Ooh, sick burn, whoever random internet denizen that was. Okay, so do you guys need to pee break?
It's always a yes, 100%.
I just need to get something to drink to flush out the angry bees in my lungs right now.
All right. So, hello, my name is Chris. Welcome. We're on the train to Shill City, and I'll begin right now by saying that you can find us at facebook.com/the Cynical Nerd. You can find us on Twitter at the Schmeg Nerd. I am currently working as hard as I can. I promise, hard as I can to get the at Cynical Nerd handle back. It is currently look. I don't want you to harass this person because it's not what I'm about, and I mean that. Do not harass this person. There's a website called cynicalnerd.com. Not the Cynical Nerd, just cynicalnerd.com. And I think they do like anime reviews. I know we shit on anime all the time. Nothing against this person, that's fine. But I think they have the handle at thecynicalnerd.com. And they're not the Cynical Nerd, they're Cynical Nerd. So, hey man, can I have it? Anyway, you can tweet at us at the Schmeg Nerd, which is really just a placeholder fucking handle. You can send us an email, questions at thecynicalnerd.com. You can, when you tweet at us, you can use the hashtag #FuckTCN if there's a correction, if you just want to tell Derek how you really feel about him, or Scott or me. You can also do Ask TCN if you have a question for us. We actually do have a correction. And we have an email here from somebody. So we're going to talk about it when they get back. Okay? Guys, don't get too excited. These guys don't know we have an email this week. I want you to know that. So it's going to be a big old surprise from them. All right, and I am going to read it back right now.
Wait, what's that? What do we got?
And by right now, I mean when Derek gets back. We have an email, boys.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
From who?
And I just happened to check it because I'm like, I haven't checked it this week because no one ever emails us. Hey, email us at questions@thecynicalnerd.com. And I just happened to check it. And as I was saying it, I went, oh shit. There's an email here. What is this I see? So when Derek gets back, we'll read it. I think it's from one of Derek's friends. Krookie. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's one of Derek's friends. Christine. I'll just give her first name. It's actually a decent podcast email here. It's 2 paragraphs, so we're gonna read through it.
I am so excited.
His pee-pee is probably turning into like a butt pee-pee.
Yeah. He's got to piss out that bussy.
Because you spent a couple seconds here before he left, and we're still here, boys.
Yeah, we are.
How much Dogecoin did you get? To the moon, boys. To the moon, everyone.
I didn't buy any more last night because it didn't dip low enough for me to feel comfortable dropping. I was gonna drop 300 in.
Okay.
And I'm still holding off for the next dip. Right now it's at 30. Sure. Right now it's at 33. It's up 11% right now. So we'll see. It usually tends to dip real crazy around like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Okay.
But I fell asleep before it got down. I wanted to get down to 25 cents a coin. I was gonna buy a bunch of it.
Oh, what are we at now, fellas?
Derek, we have an email.
We have an email.
Mm-hmm. We have an email from one of your friends, Christine Krookie.
Ah, okay.
It's not, her name's not Christine Krookie.
Right.
She goes by Krookie. Her name is Christine. So I'm gonna read that email.
Okay, please.
Right now,
please.
Derek, Scott and I had a theory. Did you have to pee out of your butt?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. For like 15 minutes prior, I was like, I was like holding my gut under here. You couldn't see it, but it was happening.
We're gonna call that taking a biss.
Yeah, that's a biss for sure.
That's a biss for sure.
All right, so looks like the second time ever, here we have an email here from Christine, and Christine writes, "Hey guys, love the podcast. Thank you,
Christine.
You guys are so much fun to listen to. You either accompany me during lunch when I feel antisocial at work, or just need a laugh. I didn't know the whole first paragraph was going to be patting us on the ass and telling us we're doing a good job. I promise I'm not reading it for those purposes. You never fail to crack me up. I may look totally crazy laughing at a grocery store, but I don't care. Having a great time, and this is entertaining. I don't have Twitter, so here's my hashtag FuckTCN.
All right.
I didn't proofread this to surprise everybody. Just finished. She might say something horrible about Courtney Love, and I won't even know until I get there. Just finished listening to episode 26, and I think you are wrong regarding WandaVision's reference to Hawkeye. Oh, this is directed at Steve.
Okay. All right.
In the last episode, Wu calls his buddy Cliff from the FBI for help, but this is not Hawkeye, as his name is Clint.
Oh, I thought it said Clint. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
I agree that there will be a post-credit scene at the end of episode 5, but I'm with Chris. This will not be linked to Wanda. Please, no seppuku in episode 27. I would miss you, Christine.
I would like to address Christine.
You just got leg sweeped.
Yeah. No, that was like a Mortal Kombat match where I got backed into a corner and leg sweeped every time I stood back up. I can't even.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, I can't even defend myself on that one. I 100% thought he said Clint.
And I just believed you. That's what a fucking sucker I am this whole time.
I mean, I didn't even catch.
Yeah, I mean, were we all under the impression that he had said Clint, not Cliff?
I was just following you because I didn't honestly remember what they said.
Like
on the phone.
right
the fucked up part is I watched this episode twice because I tend to watch them when I'm done my drunk streams on Thursdays. So I'm watching it like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
You're like, I didn't retain enough of that. I gotta watch it.
Yeah. But then I watch it again the next morning, hungover before I go to work. In 2 viewings, I must have missed that. So that's not a fuck TCN. That's a fuck me.
Well, all for one for all. It's a fuck TCN.
Yeah, no. We take it. We all 3 of us get on our hungry knees, and we take. Okay.
I just picture the most horrible thing. Like all of our knees have like snapping jaws on them. They're just biting the shag carpet.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Crookie was my very first follower on Twitch. She's fucking incredible. She's and just immensely awesome human being. She actually sent us a care package for the baby when she found out.
That was from them.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's really, really awesome. So thanks for listening, Christine. We love you, and thanks for our second official email and first official fuck TCN, right?
Yeah. I just like to thank you for checking me. Put me in my place. Sometimes I need that.
Oh, Ron fuck TCN does. That's our second fuck TCN. Yeah.
Right. Sure.
All right.
I would say, listeners, please do more of that because I really enjoy having a little segment here where we get some interaction. It's nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Anyway, moving on into the big boys this week, we're going to start off with episode 6 of Invincible, the Amazon Prime television show written by Robert Kirkman and acted by a whole host of lovely, talented people. Episode 6 it kind of keeps in the thread of last week's, where we're following up on, we're kind of catching up on all the different threads. Everything gets inched forward a bit while there's this overarching storyline of how Mark Grayson is being taught another lesson, so to speak. We see some of the machinations of Robot this episode, which I loved, and without going into details, because that's what we do after we talk about general thoughts. I really like this episode again. I thought it was really great. Scott, how'd you feel about Invincible episode 6? I
really liked it. It felt to me more in line with what I think episode 4 was trying to accomplish by having a little kind of like off the beaten path story. But it also pushed so many characters in the right direction, I think. Yeah. Some parts were a little frustrating. Like to me, like the whole, he literally just covers his eyes and nose, and no one recognizes the same fucking haircut or chin or mouth.
Yeah, but his friend recognized him, and I was like, finally.
Yeah. But not that. But not his significant other, not his kind of sort of girlfriend who's real fucking mean to him.
I mean,
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool way to. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
No. Please.
I just thought it was a cool way to, like I said, I usually hate in shows, superhero stuff, when they show like balancing between superhero life and your normal life. I always think it's done really poorly. And I think it's done really well in this show. I thought that the fact that, of course, in the middle of this catastrophe and no other heroes are around, and it has to be him that has to stop this guy, the fact that he has to disappear as Mark, like, think about it. You're like, your girlfriend might be like, wow, dude, like, I was risking my neck saving people and you just ran away. Like, you're a coward. Like, I totally got that.
I'm not saying that her motivation isn't, like, it makes sense. I'm not saying that she's a poorly written character or anything. What I'm saying is the fact that nobody can tell that it's fucking him. No one can put two and two together. The fact that he, like, that he's like, I mean, she just dumb, right? She gotta be nearsighted or something. I can't.
The fact that she hasn't put two and two together yet is a little frustrating.
Yeah, that's what's getting me. That's what has me like kind of like, come the fuck, like, he. But also, you think he just got hit by a bus, and now you're mad at him for not like attacking the android. He went to go get help.
That's true.
And you're mad at him for going to get help. Like, boy almost just fucking died, and he like, I don't know, man.
But I do like us watching. I do like watching Mark be continually forced into making the decision to either tell her or hide it and let it ruin his relationship. I mean, he goes to the party, right? There's literally that moment where he goes to the party, he sees her talking to some dude, and he has a choice. Yeah. He can either go look for that dude or he can go talk to Amber, and he makes the quote unquote right choice. However, he makes it a little too late. He could have went earlier and maybe saved that guy, and he goes too late, and look what happened. The guy's a fucking cyborg already. Yeah. Derek, how'd you feel about this episode as a whole?
So I made the mistake of watching it when I was really tired, and so I do have to rewatch it. This one to me was not bad, but I think every other episode hit really hard for me, and this one was just like good. Like, I think it was I don't want to call it the worst one I've seen in this season yet, because that sounds more negatively than I feel about it. But it was my least favorite so far, for sure. The one thing, really the only thing I have to say about this episode is this. I really hope that, I'm glad that we had this thing where we're seeing how Mark has to choose between, do I do the quote unquote right thing, that's being a superhero, or the quote unquote right thing that is like being true to my girlfriend. I feel like they've been bouncing back and forth on that for so many episodes now. It has to be fucking done now. Like, him and Amber have to be done now. Like, we get it. If they keep revisiting that point, I'm going to start getting exhausted with it. Like, I feel like
he needs to go hook up with Eve, right? We're on the same page.
Yeah. Like, and I think that the whole point is that, like, he is sort of doing things differently than the way his dad did them. His dad ended up with a human. Eve obviously, has the moisties for him. So just do it. Like, just let the Amber thing. It's a shame. Like, I feel like it was a good way to put a period on the end of that sort of arc, but it has to be the fucking period. I'm tired. Like, from this point forward, if she's like, all right, I'll give you one more chance, I'm gonna be like, bro, like, this is getting old. This whole story.
Yeah, I don't care. Either tell her. Honestly, I hope they don't. I hope they're just done, right?
Yeah.
And I hope they don't talk about it again, because it was so, like, normal in the way that it's just sad because it's over, and it's really no one's fault.
Yeah.
Like, she's upset for very valid reasons. He disappears. He doesn't show up. She feels neglected and like he doesn't give a shit about her. We know why he's doing it. I just hope that it's just like, I hope that it's just they just don't go back together, and it's just sad that they didn't. And he moves on to go to Eve because it just feels like they're building towards it. They've got good chemistry. She seems, like you said, she seems like well, we know she's into him because she even went to his house that night. Saw them kissing on the bed and was like, good for you, buddy.
Yeah. And anytime she like sees them together or anything, she's like, meow. You know, she gets that kind of like.
She actually makes that noise. It's weird. It's almost like they recorded
like she's a little kitty cat.
Played it. The sad little cat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be an interesting thing to have that kind of like come to an end and have her still be an existing character in the world that he has to kind of like interact with. Like she's almost like a constant reminder of. I mean, like maybe not a great sacrifice, but a sacrifice he's made.
Yeah.
How all in he is to this, in the same way that like, I mean, kind of like Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man 2. After Spider-Man, when he walks away, doesn't want to put anyone he loves at risk. I think like that kind of dynamic is always way more interesting when you have like this looming, this unfinished business. You know, like he doesn't have any negative feelings for her. He might still love her in some capacity, but he's got to just live with that because, you know, he can't risk putting her in danger.
Yeah. My prediction is that now he is going to get with Eve, and then Amber is going to find out that he's invincible and like forgive him, and there's going to be that whole but now it's too late, that kind of thing. I have to say, just before we get away from it, the one thing that irked me is like in the beginning of the show, because Eve doesn't wear a mask, right? And she has some dumb throwaway line that's like, oh, it's a psychological thing. You don't want to believe your classmate is the superhero, so you just don't think it. And it's like, all right, that obviously makes no sense in the real world, but they gave some reason why some of these people don't wear masks. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll suspend my disbelief long enough to go like, all right, that's why people don't recognize Mark either. And then his friend did. And it's like, oh, so like, that's not just some rule that you imposed onto your storyline. People can tell who he is. They just don't, because apparently they're fucking morons. Like, I don't know. That kind of like,
like his voice doesn't change.
Back a little bit for me. Yeah.
Well, he's also never talked to Amber in superhero costume though.
His friend literally just looked up and saw him from like chin down and was like, Mark? Like, so maybe you just have to like get that weird old man who sent you a dick pic chin down pose going on. and then everyone know who Clark Kent is. Everyone will know who Bruce Wayne is. You know, like we cracked it, boys. That's
I mean, obviously I'm arguing a fantasy series here, but like they're a good bit away. Him and his friend, who I'm forgetting his name, but they're a good bit away from Amber and the rest of the public.
His best friend who's had 2 minutes of screen time to this episode, which I
kind of love his best friend, by the way.
Yeah, I like the character.
He was chasing that ass.
It was just hungry. It was just real weird. Is it William? Is his friend? His name's William, right?
I don't honestly remember his friend's
William.
Name. Yeah. Sounds fine. Sure.
Oh, did you guys recognize the VA of the first dude that gets nabbed in the beginning?
Yes, it was Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a fun cameo.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even realize.
The problem with Justin Roiland.
You guys know who that was?
Yeah, it was Ezra Miller. Yeah. That's the best part about Prime, the X-ray shit. When you're just like, wait, that sounds really familiar.
I gotta start doing that because goddamn it, I missed it.
Ezra Miller
scene there's like some major cameo.
Yeah, Ezra Miller, surprise, played creep pretty well. Yeah. He pulls off the creepy vibe. But Justin Roiland, like the second he started talking, I was like, is that a not drunk Rick? Like, what the fuck is? Although he was playing a drunk guy.
That sold it for me. As soon as he did the burp I was like, that kind of sounded like.
How did I not put this together?
Just go watch the intro.
Yeah.
It's the
no, I can hear it in my head right now.
Yeah.
And he was playing this drunk asshole. It's so funny. I liked the episode. I like Eve's storyline with her family. Mark Grayson stuff aside, like her father being like, he clearly loves her, but also has like his interest in mind for her. And I also like the idea of her just being like, why do I need any of you? Like, I can make things with my fucking mind. Like, look, I'm going to live in a fucking tree in some gorgeous bucket. Who cares? I'm just going to be somebody who helps people. I felt like the whole time she was doing it, it was going to bite her in the ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's going to like reforest the whole area, and then there was going to be some super crazy downside she hadn't thought of to that, and she was going to be like, oh wait, I can't just start doing this because I'm not smart enough to know every ramification from everything. But it didn't happen. Maybe it'll happen later.
I love her arc. I agree. I think the direction she's going.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, she clearly just loves being a hero.
It's weird to me though that in the first episode they introduced her in where the aliens are invading throughout time for them. she just made barriers out of pink, right? Like she just, but
Right.
now she's manifesting things in the like out of nothing.
Yeah, I'm a little unclear about her exact power set.
Yeah,
It's almost like just manipulate, like energy manipulation.
I
like,
think that's the point, though, is that like she has been sort of led to believe that that's like the apex of her power, is just doing these things that can stop bullets and lift people up. And I think now she's going like, wait, I can actually do practical things when I can change the fucking atomic structure of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, that's how I took it anyway. There's still an inconsistency there for sure, but
yeah. I mean, it was really cool when she just deleted the front door, right? She saw her dad coming. She was like,
that was fucking horrifying. Like if she ever had a turn for the worst, like
yeah, dude, she's a super villain. Okay, I like
make the waterman look like a pussy.
I agree with Scott that I felt like this was like the good version of the Mars episode. All right, you guys. All right, children, now.
Pussy.
Oh, that one was creepy.
Yeah, that was bad.
I don't like it. All right, boys. I want plenty of time for all these topics. So let's move on to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5. Don't do it again. So, guess what? Update on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked this episode. I feel like the show is on an upward trajectory. There's a couple things. I'm just gonna putting it out on Front Street, boys.
There it is.
I thought that there's a couple dynamics to this show, to this episode specifically, that made me not have a disdain for it. Like, one, I really love the John Walker arc. I love watching him go crazy. I continued to like it in this episode where he's in front of that tribunal and he kind of goes crazy. He's like, I'm Captain America. And then all of our heads were like, no, you're fucking not, Chief. But it's interesting to watch him walk around town and see these posters of him with like Cap his back, and he's, you know, now his buddy died, and him going to see the family was sad because they clearly had an actual relationship together. They worked together for a lot of years. Some of the things that made me actually like it is that this Bucky and Sam dynamic, this episode was rife with montages, boys, and I love me a good montage. And the dynamic between Sam and Bucky in this is what I expected them to be like when the fucking show started. Mm-hmm. Like, they're on the same page. The jokes were better for me. I don't know if it's just because they weren't being like fucking twats to each other this episode, but the whole like coming back and kind of resetting. We finally got the trailer scene where he's practicing with the shield, which I just liked it. I don't know. This episode hit for me. I thought it was much, much better than most of this season, besides like the second half of last episode. But Scott, how'd you feel about episode 5?
I really liked it. But it also has me bummed out at what could have been. If things had been organized a little bit differently. This show suffers from a few problems. I mean, more than a few, but three or four that I think really drag down the momentum. One of the themes of this series so far seems to be like Sam coming to terms with what's been done to a past black super soldier, and the idea of, would it be disingenuous? Would it be a betrayal? And would do a disservice to the African American community for him to pick up the shield as if those atrocities were never perpetrated in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention that, and I thought that whole segment was great.
Yeah, that's beautiful writing, and it makes you wonder where the fuck that's been for 3 episodes.
Right.
You know, and the thing is, like, having him have the shield and then find out about Isaiah and everything that happened would have been a more interesting arc if he had fallen into the mantle, if he was comfortable, and then as a result of that, he puts down the shield and then has to deal with the guilt of his new successor not really holding the weight. You know what I mean? Like, not being able to do what even he was capable of doing.
We're rewriting the show right now, boys. This is way better than the original. I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, but that's really what it is. It also suffers from a problem where, like, I mean, the new Captain America, if we had time to like him before watching his descent, it would have had a more of an impact, I feel, because he's always been cocky and kind of a tertiary character that's literally just a placeholder. We haven't had time to really get attached to John Walker, or any reason to get attached to John Walker. So his fall from John Walker Captain America to, you know, U.S. agent feels like it's just, okay, you know, it's white noise in the background, like it's an inevitability. It doesn't feel like it carried any emotional weight whatsoever. And at the same time, we had the leader of the Flag Smashers, Carly, what's her name?
Carly.
Yeah.
Carly, who talks about, you know, a world without borders and has all this stuff she wants to do to change things back to the way they were. but we hear her talking about how she's like a man of the people or a woman of the people, how she's like this great uniter. We haven't seen her do anything that actively unites people besides speaking at a funeral for someone who actively united people. We've seen her killing innocent people. We've seen her stealing and murdering innocents, and just
super weak villain. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, villain. She's not supposed to be
she
super
could
bad,
have
but-
she could have been a complex character. She could have been a relatable villain, someone who you see their perspective. Like we haven't gotten any glimpse of what the world was like during the blip, aside from a few scenes towards the very beginning of Endgame. You know what I mean? We haven't actively seen any flashbacks of her time during the blip. We haven't seen anything building up what the world was like for them and what it's like for them now. You know, aside from like we see that one slum. So like this show doesn't have a good villain. It doesn't. It has villains, one of which you want to be sympathetic for, but you have no reason to really sympathize with, and one that you just kind of can't wait to watch him get his ass kicked, right? Like,
yeah. Well, he got picked up by the Wakandans, so
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. I forgot to mention the big cameo, but I'll let Derek go before we talk about it. Derek, how did you feel about episode 5?
It was there were good things and there were bad things about it. I do think it did surprise me a little bit that I ended up really liking Sam, sort of his journey to accept being Captain America. Like, I felt like so much of the dialogue in this show was so like insultingly expositional, but I think like I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was something along the lines of, I understand everything Isaiah is saying, but what's the point of going through all this pain if it was all for nothing, to just not basically have this rallying symbol that does bring people together. I thought that part was great. I'm really excited to see whatever his costume design looks like, because that's clearly the reveal next week. I disagree.
What a cock tease that ending was.
What's that?
What a cock tease that ending was. Jesus.
I know.
That was U.S. agents, right? Wasn't it?
Well,
no. He got a new.
He opened up like the case that Bucky gave him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that was,
shit.
like, his last scene. So I'm assuming
he got
that's
his outfit's
costume.
made from Wakanda, bro. They made him a new Cap outfit.
Yeah.
Shit.
It was
Anyway.
cool the way they showed him sort of abandon Falcon by like the wings getting ripped off, and he told whatever his name is to just keep him. I hope that his whole captain getup, he keeps his jetpack. Like, I hope he's now just Captain America.
Well, he
with
did
a
in the
jetpack.
comics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then that's probably what's going to happen.
He kept the wings. Yeah.
I disagree. I actually like John Walker as a villain. I think in the beginning, he's clearly representing people who do the wrong things for what they perceive to be the right reasons. He thinks that he's the person that can save everyone. And basically he's not going to let anyone get in his way from what he thinks is the best thing. Which is, of course, what scumbags throughout history have always done and felt. I think that him going to see Lamar's family and basically like lying to them, and you see that moment where she's like, I'm just so happy you got the guy who is responsible for this. He knows he just lied to her. And you see this moment where this guy who's already radicalized just becomes more radicalized. I thought that was really believable. And I think he was a sweetie in the beginning. I think that he just was underprepared for the job, because absolutely everybody would be underprepared for the job. So when he failed, he just let it get to him. And that's kind of how he descended into U.S. agent or whatever they're going to be calling him.
It's like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's basically it. I was going to say, like, a lot of this episode, I was kind of like, all right, come on, let's just. Of course, this is the fluffer episode. They're just getting us hard so they can make it come in episode 6.
You know, all the pieces in position.
Right. And I get that, but like some of it was a little like, I felt like the working on the boat scene was like, all right, this is 3 times as long as it
I
needs to
loved
be.
that. I loved it so
I
much.
did like it. Yeah,
I
did
didn't
like
stand it.
I thought that like that was some of the best character development we've seen. Like, it got them to where they should have been from the start of this, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I 100% agree. That montage was great.
yeah, like the thing is, like, again, they've been through so much. I've rewatched a lot of the phase 3 of the MCU this week, guys, because I kind of wanted to get caught up on where some of these characters were emotionally before the finale, and like it just kind of rings even more true that like they had no emotional growth between Civil War and Falcon Winter Soldier. Like there's so much has happened, and it seems like none of it held any emotional weight for them. And just to reiterate, like I feel like I agree with you that John Walker's decline from optimistic, cocky jock to madman was believable, and that happened all in a way that felt like natural to me. It's just that I feel like they didn't give us enough reasons to care about him as a character, where it feels like this big turn. It just felt like an inevitability. You know what I mean? It just felt like we were just waiting for it to happen. We were burning screen time. Every scene between him and Lamar, like every scene with him doing his own thing, seems pointless because the only interactions that really mattered are the ones that we saw on screen when he was with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Nothing really fleshed out his character, anything more than like, oh, by the way, remember, he's still kind of a dick.
Yeah. Oh, and I will say I hate training montages, but I liked Sam's training montage. It was pretty good.
Every time I see a Matt Stone and Trey Parker have infected my brain to the very core. Every time I see one, I hear Team America.
Yeah.
They went to a montage. Yeah. So Julie Louise Dreyfus shows up. This was the big cameo. This is a character I knew exactly. Cool.
Yeah, Jason Alexander's in the finale, guys. Don't worry, it's gonna be good.
Where's Kramer at, boys? So she shows up as a character I knew very little about. I had to look her up. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, which is way too many fucking words. Put your name. She's almost like the anti Nick Fury. Like she kind of like moves people around behind the scenes. She said a couple things to Walker, like I would have killed the guy too. And then she put an interesting. Well, it's not interesting to us because we all fucking know it. But she was like, about the Shield, they don't own that. Kind of a legal gray area. It's not really theirs. So and then in the end credits scene, which why in episode 5 is there an end credits scene? Whatever. You see him making one out of probably not vibranium because he doesn't have access to it. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit about her character. There have been some rumors. So we see in Black Widow that there's going to be a young General Thunderbolt Ross, or whatever his name is. Ross, what I forget. The guy from Hulk, the general.
That's
the young, Thaddeus or some shit. I don't fucking know. His younger self is going to be in Black Widow, and there were rumors that because we saw him, he might be trying to make the Thunderbolts, which is like an anti-Avengers team of like sort of anti-heroes. And the rumors said that maybe Yelena from Black Widow is kind of like her cohort through that training, and then like John Walker and Zemo would be recruited for like this anti-Avengers team or something. But I don't know. Nothing's been officially announced. I don't really care about that. Yeah, I mean. Anyway, I like the episode overall. I'm disappointed. Like Scott said, we're on the exact same page. I liked the montage stuff so much because it was the back and forth banter that was believable between those two, and I feel like should have been where their relationship started. Like that boat scene, Bucky should have been with him to go back home for make up a reason I don't care. In like the first episode when he goes home and he's like, Bucky's there for some, maybe that's where he's just living now, and he helps him with the fucking boat. Like reintroduce us to those characters. They're friends now. They've bonded since the events of Endgame, and then we go from there. But I digress. We have 2 things left to talk about, gentlemen. One of which is a movie that Scott had previously seen. Derek and I had not, called Knives Out from director Rian Johnson. Derek, how'd you feel about Knives Out?
So here's how I feel about Knives Out. I feel about Knives Out the way you guys felt about The Nice Guys, which is to say, I liked it, and that's kind of all I have to say about it. Like it's not what do you say? Like it was a whodunit. It was done well. Right. It had a great ensemble cast. It's like I love movies that do that. Every scene you're like, oh, that's blah from that's X from Y, and every single character in this movie was like that. I think that it had good humor, good comedic timing. It had an interesting story. There was enough twists and turns. But I mean, that's all I have to say about it. It was just. I need to
know how you feel about Daniel Craig's accent.
At first, I wanted to vomit into my own sort of nasal canal upon hearing it, but I did sort of like course correct to it.
Just a real Jimi Hendrix 27 Club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
bringing it back, boys.
Vicodin induced.
But yeah, it's also hilarious because someone in the film, aka Chris Evans, calls it out towards the end. He says, "Stop it with that Kentucky Fried Foghorn Leghorn."
Yeah.
So my spirit animal, I now know, is Chris Evans telling his family to eat shit.
Yeah.
Because that was my favorite joke of the whole film.
That was a good part.
Eat shit. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just, I mean, like, it's one of those movies where, like, I remember leaving and having enjoyed it, but I don't know if I've watched. I might have watched it again since I saw it in the movies, but it's just like it's casted perfectly. It at a certain point it does start to suck its own dick more than it tells an interesting story, right? Like it just becomes so convoluted where you're just like, oh, it's like we're doing Looper, but there's no time travel. It's just again, like I think the casting kind of like carries it. Everyone was fantastic. Yeah. They had a great sense of humor. Some of the recurring bits. That final scene where the big reveal that she had lied because she vomits directly into his face.
Yeah.
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 And that's the only other thing I wanted to say. Sorry, real quick. Is that like
fuck me though.
It was. I'm not saying that the entire movie was predictable. Like I'm not saying I knew who it was from the beginning or anything.
Right.
But like those kind of bits though were telegraphed. Like I knew that vomit in the face thing was coming from the moment she like picked up the phone. Like. And I just like throughout the movie it wasn't so much that it was like this movie sucks, but it was kind of like you didn't know the overall picture, but you knew what was coming in 30 seconds kind of throughout.
Yeah. I really like this film. To Derek's point, like there's not a ton to say about it. I thought it was well written. The whodunit up until pretty close to the end still had me guessing like because they do that thing where they pull in Chris Evans and actually make him look like a nice guy for a split second.
You want to believe it because Chris Evans is such a honey.
He's Steve Rogers,
Turns out he's spicy habanero honey.
Yeah,
he's got a dark side.
And he's gonna burn your butthole on the way out. So he plays it up as if he's trying to help her, and I believed it because the circumstances within which he was going to help her made sense. So all that was written very cleverly, right? So we think he's getting kicked out of the will, so of course he's going to help her. But for he also wants his cut of the. I thought it was written very intelligently, and cast was great. Funny, just a good time. I had a good time. I'm glad that I watched it. It was a fun, enjoyable experience.
But it also doesn't lend itself to a sequel with any of those characters.
It's gotta be an anthology, right?
Yeah. Like I mean, but also
There's no
like
fucking way.
Also, I don't think Daniel Craig could possibly carry this on his own. I said it's going to have to be one of those things where what made this movie work was the casting, and there were so many big names in it. With the budget they have, with the payday they're getting, how much are the actors going to be getting? Like, who are they going to get to sign on for a Netflix movie for less than 10 to 15 mil?
That's what I was thinking throughout. I was like, all right, with this sequel coming back, like, and then paying Daniel Craig, whatever it is, like $100 million or something. Yeah. I'm like, he's not even the one holding this movie together. Like, it's not like he's so integral and so good that like you can't wait for the next Daniel Craig scene. Like he was good, but it wasn't like quarter of the movie's overall budget good. That kind of confused me throughout.
He was a cup of Wawa coffee, right? He's like, it's fine.
right.
It's like it's fine. It's fine. But if you charged me any more for this than what I already paid for it, I wouldn't drink it. I'd put it back.
Yeah. I think the only way that sequels work is if the whole kind of shtick is it's a different cast of characters altogether with a different group of big named good actors who decide to come in and do a small thing because it's a fun project. And it's just got to be the same thing. It's got to be a clever setup for a premise, a different ensemble cast, and just thrill me, daddy.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of these people are also actors that don't have very busy schedules. Like, I love Don Johnson, but Don Johnson's done like in the last 10 years, he's done like Django, I think. He's done Django. He's done the Keenan Show on NBC. He's done Knives Out, and I think he had a short stint in fucking Watchmen, like for like 2 episodes. So he's got a wide open schedule. They got to find those like solid A-listers of the 70s and 80s to bring back now. And the same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, her mother was the actress from Psycho. When her mother passed, the headline read, "Psycho actress dies." Jamie Lee Curtis has been on the record saying, when I die, we'll say Halloween actress dies. So it's like, you got to find these people who now feel out of time, but were iconic back in the day, and we'll do this for $5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And what we're really saying about Don Johnson is we all know he can act, No one really wants to pay him to do it.
Yeah.
But or maybe he just doesn't wanna. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's his choice. We'll go that way.
Well, he's getting that NBC money right now though. Like he's on that show with Chris Redd and Kenan Thompson.
That NBC cash.
I've watched every episode of that show so far, and I don't hate any of it. Which is like, I don't know if it's
keep
like
talking about it. You bring it up like feels like every other day at least. Might have to check it out.
The CNBC is change, boys. Is that NB change? Okay, we have one more thing to talk about. I think we're talking about both season 2 and season 3 of Dark. Scott and I binged our way to the finish line to talk about this, and I am not going to go first.
May I open? I was going to say.
You may open, Derek.
Okay.
Derek, did you get something in the mail this week? Do you have something?
I don't. I didn't get it. I forgot to say. Nope. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Mine's downstairs anyway. I would have had to show you my butt.
Yeah.
So Derek, go ahead.
Oh, that's a shame, man.
That's okay. We have multiple surprises then.
Here's my experience with it. I didn't want to sully your guys' experience, which is why I had mentioned that a lot of people thought it got better with each season. Veronica and I, our personal experience with it was that we absolutely loved season 1, and then we even more so with season 2, and then season 3 we just liked. Like it didn't bang like the other two did. We were just kind of like, all right, like this is good, but I'm kind of ready for this to be done now. Like I'm kind of ready to just get to whatever it is that happens. A lot of the episodes in season 3 felt like they repeated themselves to us. It just felt like the same things happening again and again. There was a lot going on we didn't really care about. Nothing that was like totally uninteresting, but just stuff that was kind of like, wait, shouldn't we be like more focused on this? So overall though, the ending, like the very end of the show, we absolutely adored it. We loved just the fact that there was this like self-sacrifice aspect to it, tied in with the religious themes that they went really heavy-handed with in season 3. Jonas and Marta sacrificed themselves. And Jonas. And of course, a couple other like entire lineages and family lines. That would mean
there was like 8 people sitting at that fucking table. Like 8 people are left in the town now.
Yeah, that's the whole town.
Yeah, no more incest. Yeah,
like some people, and
that's the thing. Fucking each other.
That's the thing that hurt about it, is that like some people that were like unborn didn't deserve it, and some people that were still around totally deserved to be unborn. Like Hannah didn't deserve to get a happy ending. Yet we lost Magnus. Mikkel is gone, of course. Like there's a lot of people that were unwritten that really didn't deserve it. But that self-sacrifice, the whole thing we see with Claudia deciding, that moment that radicalized her in season 2, seeing Regina, traveling and seeing her grown-up daughter suffering from cancer. And she's just decided that the most important thing is it's better for something to just be dead than to just live in agony at all times. Yeah. That's the decision that Jonas and Marta made for a lot of the townspeople. Every character in the show is a tragic character. That's why I love it. You understand why they all feel the way they feel.
Well, except Tannhaus, because now he's got his fucking family back.
Yeah. but so I liked that they had made that decision. I felt like it would have been so easy to make some cheesy ending where everybody gets exactly what they want. But in this one, it was some people really didn't. Some people got fucked. I just thought that it was good writing.
I kind of envy some people who got blinked out of existence, though. I mean, that's not as bad as existing, am I right?
right.
Jesus. Yeah. Are you okay if I go, Scott, or do you want to take over?
By all means.
Okay. So since Derek kind of did a little foreplay there, I felt better about going sooner. So I feel basically the same way that you did, and I wasn't sure if it was because I binged it so quickly at the end that I kind of was like, in season 3, I was kind of starting to feel like all right, let's just fucking get it over with. So here's the thing. I also really loved the finale. I thought that it made sense in the world they were built. Of course, there was a third world. The whole thing's been about the Triqueta or whatever. That made complete sense with the world they had built. And it just felt like at the end of season 2, they knew there was another season, but they didn't know exactly how they were going to wrap everything up. And somebody went, oh, wait, we just did the 2 world thing, introduced it for season 3. The whole thing's about threes. will be a secret third world that we don't find out about until like the last episode or the one before the last episode, and we'll surprise everybody. And then they had to use all of season 3 to explain why that made perfect sense. And it like all of season 3 felt like exposition to me.
Yeah.
It's nothing but like, and I just, again, I like these characters, and I was a little worried at the beginning of season 2 because of the whole welcome to the future thing. But I ended up loving season 2 because it did basically what the first season did, but just to like the nth degree. It was like everybody's fucking each other.
Yeah.
We go back and see Aegon and his tragic story, and he's also kind of a piece of shit, but like it, it's sad.
Dude,
and how
Aegon's
Claudia
arc is one of my favorites in the whole show. My God, he's such a good character.
Yeah, so I basically am on the same page as Derek. I thought season 1 was fantastic. I thought 2 was pretty great. I'm not sure if I liked it more or the same than 1, but they were both really fun. Season 3 was okay. The ending tied everything up neatly. I messaged Derek last night right before they wrapped up the finale because I had paused it, and it was right when Jonas and Marta were in the origin. Jonas, Marta, we're in the origin world without Bartaj, and I don't know. I just felt like saying Bartaj's name. There's no reason to mention him. When they're in the origin world and they kind of realize they've done it. They're like, they saved him on the bridge, and I thought that whole thing was kind of cool. How he recited the dad's words to him, and the kid just kind of got it. It was like, oh fuck, my dad's actually kind of onto something. Let's go back. That was cool. That it didn't feel forced. I was kind of on the fence about because they've established previously that if you exist in the future, you can't go back and like unwrite somebody. So to me, I was like, it could have went either way. Everything else could have been fixed because the origin world is now the only one left. But because Jonas and Marta are here, they just get to live out the rest of their lives. Like that would have been like the happy ending, even though everyone else they love, like most of their families are fucking gone. Those two together get to just be in this origin world. And hey, she's not his aunt anymore. They can actually be together, not be. Maybe that was his kink. Maybe that's why it wouldn't work. But they could. In my opinion, I would not have been upset if those two were left in the origin world alive and they got a little bit of happiness, but everything else was gone and the timeline was fixed. But I also wasn't mad at them disappearing because it fit with the logic for the most part. Like I said, I'm a little fuzzy on the whole like if you existed. I don't know. The other worlds disappeared, so I guess it's fine. But when I was watching it, my brain kept going, well, I kept saying, like, if you exist here, then it doesn't really matter what you do in the past because you exist. You know what I mean?
Well, it's everybody. So everybody there's this obviously huge, dense knot that was getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And we find out in season 3.
Ooh, I'm almost there. Keep going.
That the only person that's not in this knot is Tannhaus. Everybody else at some point went back in time. The origin or or the unknown, or some people call him Kane, the 3 people who were in season 3 that they're all the same person at different ages of their life.
That was a super interesting character.
I thought that was cool.
That we got nothing from except for murder scenes.
Well, that was Jonas and Martha's son, who was Tronti's dad. So basically, Jonas was like his own great grandfather. And so the only person...
Hence the meme I posted.
Yeah, right.
The meme I made. Did you see that yet, Chris?
I haven't seen it yet. We were saving all the memes for when I had finished it, and I just finished it last night.
But basically, Tannhaus was the only one who like wasn't related to himself in some fashion. So that was the whole show. They make you think that Jonas is somehow at the centerpiece of this, and he was at the centerpiece of the knot. But like him, Tannhaus was the one that they had to sort of alter his past in order to fix everything.
Right. Scott, differences between season 2 and how'd you like the ending and season 3?
Oh no. We're gonna edge this one, boys. I'm not just gonna blow it. What I gotta say is I loved season 1 so much. We talked about that before. Season 2 I loved even more than I loved season 1. Everything about it was incredible. There were some things that were a little cringy, like being your own grandmother.
Yeah,
was kind of like that. Like I understand
the closed loop of that. Yeah.
No, the thing is, it does obey all its own rules in saying that if you exist here, you can't be blinked out of existence. But I feel like with a physical object, it's easier to have that paradox where like it's just always been because someone brought it back before you even wrote it, that you've had it. So it exists in your time. So it's kind of like skipping over. But at some point, he would have had to physically write the book for it to exist. He just hasn't written it yet. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing. Like, so I don't think it works with people. like it becomes that chicken or the egg, but in the most like convoluted way possible. I could forgive that because the character writing was still really good. The plot still really had me, and when all the reveals I thought were going to be big reveals way later down the line that I was like predicting came way earlier than I expected. So I had high hopes that this show had like way more layers than I even anticipated to pull back. And the very last seconds of season 2, when we revealed this is a parallel universe, I was still optimistic. And by the end of the show, I absolutely fucking hated it. I absolutely hated there were a few characters whose ends that you see in season 3 are tragic and beautiful and close their loops. Like being killed by your own mother and having your body buried at the bottom of a lake that your children swim above.
That was fucked.
Yeah, like that was fucking horrifying. I didn't hate all of season 3, but I hated the alternate reality bits. I hated that the reason that they even knew about the alternate realities because Jonas went, because she pulled Jonas to their reality, and then through him she learns about the multiple dimensions. But what's crazy to me is that Adam and Eva both had ways to travel through time, but it seemed like only Eva's people originally had the box that allowed you to travel not only through time but through planes of existence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did they explain
right?
That like did they? I actually forgot to bring it up, but since you're literally talking about that very thing, they go through such great lengths with everything else in the show to explain who made it and who built it and where it came from. I don't remember where did the apple come from? Like who made it? How did they figure out that there was another reality in the first place? They did plant the seed of early on in the show, Claudia said to Jonas, I've seen a world without you. You think killing yourself fixes it doesn't fix it. I've seen a world without you. It's not any better. Yeah. That's fine, but how they figure out how to fucking get there?
Well, the thing is that led me to believe that there were that time continues as an infinite loop no matter what. You know what I mean? Where maybe there's realities where he stops Mikkel from going back in time and becoming Michael, and thus he's never born, but that the world ultimately still ends in that variation of the timeline. To me, I thought the idea of different timelines would be cool if they had the ability to kind of change things and fuck things up. If it wasn't just always just, no matter what it is, it always has been, it always will be. That being in concrete gave it structure, but I also thought it took out a lot of the options they had to tie up their story for a creative way for it to end without them having to do something as ridiculous as a parallel dimension. That to me felt like the shark, and once I hit that point, watching the rest of it was a struggle. I'm glad I watched it. I think it has some of the best time travel nonsense I've ever seen. But
I wish it all took place in one world too. I wish that they had found some way. I don't know if this thing at the end of season 2 was their way of going let's wow them one last time, or if it was a logical thing. How do we create an infinite loop that we find it into? And that was sort of their solution to it. I have no idea, but I agree that I wish it was all in one reality. And once it started jumping between realities, some of the stuff they did in season 3 I thought was excellent. I thought that making Bartaj Noah's dad was a fucking great move, because it made that meaningless scene in the beginning of season 2 where Noah kills the guy. You realize in retrospect, oh, that was Bartaj. He didn't defend himself because it's his fucking son. He didn't want to, it's not going to fight back and kill his son, so of course you just let him hit him in the neck with a pickaxe or whatever.
That was insane when we put that together. When you put that together for me.
There's so many scenes like that I think season 3 did really well with, but I agree ultimately it would have been, if it all took place in one reality, it would have been better. In the end, to be clear, we still liked it. It wasn't season 3, I disagree with you when you say season 3 sucks or you hated it. We just felt season 1 and 2 were 10 out of 10, as high as you can get.
Yeah.
And then season 3 was 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10.
I would give season 3 a 3.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. But the whole thing is there's certain arcs are closed for characters from the first 2 seasons that are incredible. It's just the introduction. First of all, the idea that there's an old Eva out there, or that the first time she would possibly come back to affect the timeline here would be right before the apocalypse. Yeah. That to me seemed like lazy writing. It seemed like maybe they thought they had more time than what they had, and when they were only approved for one more season, they had to put a wrap up on it. Because for this show to have as much momentum as it had in the first 2 seasons, and then completely switch tracks like that, and then again, like you said, it felt like so much exposition. It was like they had to come up with an ending quickly, and the way that they could wipe the slate clean, the most thing was to go to another reality where all this other complicated shit wasn't happening, and have half their story take place in this other place where we didn't have to worry about all these other loops, all these other contingencies that had already been set up.
That's why I said that I originally said that I felt like it was like writer's room at the end of season 2, and they're like, all right, how do we wrap this up? Because it really did like you said, the introduction of like old Marta, like all that stuff happens all in one season, and it felt like you would have at least had this been the plan the entire time, at least would have shown up in season 2 somewhere, and it would have been like a who's that? Yeah. And then eventually they would have been like, guess who it is?
And it was weird that like because of that, the season 3 felt jam-packed and repetitive at the same time. Like it, you know what I mean? Like that's what I meant when I said so many episodes seemed like they were accomplishing the same thing, like Adam and Eva meeting in that little hall, and it's like, are we doing this again? Like
it felt so repetitive, and it actually got confusing to the point where, because there's sometimes where like I'm like, okay, well what scar does Marta have on her face? Like, how do I know which one I'm fucking looking at? And sometimes it was legitimately difficult to see with like the lighting or where she was. There's a scene where she's in the cage. Adam has her caged, and I'm like, what scratches on her face? Like, where in the timeline is this fucking taking place?
Yeah.
But they clearly show you how she got the scratch on her face just to make it. You know what I mean? Like that was like clearly just like, here you go, guys. Like, here you go, fella.
Like,
I actually
plot device.
Yeah,
I actually laughed out loud at that because there was no serious reason for it. She was just like, "Fuck you."
Now we know where you are in the timeline.
It was another Martha that did that, right?
I don't remember.
It was old Martha.
It was old Martha.
Yeah.
Okay.
The scene though, where like every time they show, the fucking origin, I forget his name.
It's the unknown. That's his name. Some people call him Cain because he's Adam and Eve's son, but his name is the unknown.
I'm gonna call him Cain. I like that.
Yeah.
Every time we see Cain on screen, he has such a presence. He seems so horrifying.
I was truly never sure if he was going to kill someone or just give them something.
Yeah.
Every time he showed up,
I wanted more of that. And again, that's why to me this feels like the show was cut short. But also like some of the things it did so well. Like the idea that Adam and Eva in some timeline, if it was timelines instead of alternate realities, I'm still in. I'm still all in. We've seen the Back to the Future thing. We can see timelines change. Something could have happened at the end of season 2 that changed the trajectory of the entire future. Where now like all this shit exists. Like they could have delayed the apocalypse, but still the apocalypse is happening later. The Terminator theory, where you can put off Judgment Day, but you can't prevent it. So anything could have happened at the end of season 2 to allow them to introduce old Eva, right? And to have those scenes where there's 4 Evas in a room. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I love that because like old Eva has to have like quadruple deja vu right now. But same thing with Cain, man. I thought that was really cool. The idea of like unifying with yourself throughout time and working as a singular unit like an army was such a cool fucking concept, and it was underutilized in this season because like again there was so much exposition. They had to explain what was going on with the alternate realities. They had to explain the rule of 3 all over again and give us the rehashes.
And speaking of, you guys understand, like, because I miss this. I'm not saying anything I'm not questioning your intelligence. I'm saying this because
please do.
I didn't have the intelligence.
Yeah, talk down to me, Daddy. I like
Cain,
Step Cain, while you do it. I'm gonna be you right
and
now.
Agnes are Tronti's father. So Cain is okay. So I missed that somehow. I don't know how until I was reading it after the fact.
And Tronti's the kid who shows
what Tronti's Ulrich's dad, who's obsessed with Claudia. That like does
Claudia.
Yes.
Claudia.
He showed Claudia his little pingling when they were kids.
Yeah, his little dinker.
So weird,
dinker.
But isn't she also technically like his? What is she in relation to him? They're all related. It's literally Duck Dynasty in Germany. This is what this fucking show is.
I was gonna say so it's funny. Georgia and Germany have more in common than just the first letter of their country's names. Georgia's not a country. Fuck you. You get the idea.
So my favorite. I just want to tell you guys my favorite. I don't even want to maybe gimmick of the entire show is in all 3 of the timelines that Ulrich finds himself trapped in. He finds himself saying the line to Ulrich. I have it up here. My only aim is to take many lives. The more, the better I feel. Which was the lyric that Egon read to him in the 80s as a kid. And then I'm trying to think of the other two. But anyway, in the other two timelines that Ulrich ended up in, he says it back to him. And I just love that like quizzical look on Egon's face every time where he's like, I've heard this somewhere before. Like, like what this means something.
I thought that was cool.
And his just the tragedy of Egon's character where his whole fucking life, he was on the edge of figuring this thing out and he just never did.
Never did. Yeah. I there's a lot of sad
he does figure it out at the very end. He's like, you were the White Witch.
Literally in the end.
Yeah. But I'm sure he doesn't understand the full scope. He just understands that there is time travel happening.
That scene where old Claudia, goes back to young man Egon and apologizes to him and she's crying makes me openly fucking weep, dude. That scene is so sad. And you don't know when you watch it first why she's apologizing. Yeah. You're just assuming she's doing something awful. When you go back and rewatch that, oh my God, it's a fucking just punch right in the gut.
Does her character ever find out about him and Hannah? Did she ever know about him and Hannah and the secret baby?
I imagine she did. She kind of knows everything that's going on. So I would imagine she probably did.
I also it wasn't clear to me that Tranta was kind of a piece of shit. Like, because there was the scene where he's talking to Claudia about Regina, and he was like, I always thought she might have been one of mine. And I was like, oh, you've been fucking around. Like, that was never made super clear to me until that scene. Mm-hmm. Before we get away from it, I wanted to agree with Scott about Kane, we'll call him, because I just kept thinking with the 3 thing that they set up, I was like, that's a cool gimmick. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so the kid is being shown what he will do, and there's the old man just like watching it happen again on repeat, like history always repeats itself. And I was like, that's gotta be, it's kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah. But the old guy never really did anything. The old guy was always
it was only ever the middle guy that did everything.
Yeah. But what's crazy though is that like he's living this life that's across the span of 99 years, let's say, let's be generous, because there's 3 different timelines, right? And you can only travel by 33-year periods.
Right.
So he's essentially living
through the one thing you can only travel through. By 33.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they were all 33 years apart.
That's the whole thing. That was Noah's whole arc, is that he was trying to create one that you weren't. That's because he was trying to save what's her name, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
He was trying to make a time machine that you weren't restrained to those years, which is why he kept killing all them kids.
Yeah, but them kids were all fucking each other,
Yeah.
And their aunts and uncles and their grandparents. And,
right.
Yeah.
Real gross.
Yeah.
Really, he's fixing the gene pool in the area, just
way to go, Noah.
Yeah, good job, Noah.
Their gene pool is probably as dirty as a Camden public pool, if we're being honest.
Is it as dirty as
Courtney loves pussy?
Gotta get one last one in.
Courtney loves pussy.
Oh,
pussy.
No.
Pussy.
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 Oh no! Well, that's the thumbnail.
That's
boys.
all, folks.
It should just be the Looney Tunes. I probably can't even use the image.
Courtney Love as Porky Pig. Just
Oh my god! Yes. What's our title though? We don't have a title yet, do we?
We'll figure that out at some point.
Anyway, how would you rate your overall experience with it, Chris?
I think I said earlier, basically the same as you. I loved 1 and 2. 3, it was boring me in a bit, and like I said, I wasn't sure if it was because I was binging it last minute to try and finish it that I was like, hurry the fuck up. But I just looking back on like last night and the past couple nights, 3 just didn't do it for me. But I did like the ending.
Yeah,
like I get where they were trying to go. Just episode 1 through like 7 of season 3, I just was fucking stinker city. I was not a happy fan.
Yeah.
Overall, great series. I'd recommend it to anybody.
I like to thank you for I don't want you to take my critique of the 3rd season as an indicator of any of my enjoyment whatsoever. Because I remember someone said something on Facebook about how hard the left turn was on this. Yeah. You said just stick it out, man. I think you'll still enjoy the overall experience. And the truth is, I'm glad I watched season 3 because again, the ends of certain characters felt like really rewarding and heartbreaking, and it tonally all matched up. I mean, this series was depressing. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Listen,
depressing
Scott, you owe it to yourself though to at least spot check a couple episodes and just hear the German. Not voice actors, just actors, because their voices are incredible.
I intend to watch this show again at some point in German.
Just skip the 3rd season. Because if you can't stand the exposition with dubs, reading it with subtitles is way worse.
But dude, Adam's voice is so, oh my god, it's just like Adam's voice is heroin pouring into my eyeballs.
The crazy thing is, we ended last week's podcast, and I think I finished season 2 that night. I was on episode 2 of it, and I watched like the other 6 hours straight that night. And then like season 3, man, it took me a while to get through because I wasn't enjoying it.
Same
as
much.
With us.
Same with us. We did it the same way. It was kind of like we burned through season 1 and 2 in preparation for 3.
Yeah.
And then so we figured like we'll have season 3 done in like 2-3 days, right? It took us like 2 weeks to get through it because it just wasn't. Yeah. It just wasn't. It didn't hit for us.
It felt like we liked it, but it just
wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't like season 2 was super fun to finish. Season 3 just felt like a fucking chore.
It's just very telling that the character that committed suicide in the first 5 minutes of the series had the happiest ending out of almost anybody in that fucking show. You know what they say though, boys? No pain, no Cobain.
Oh, that might be the episode title.
No Pain, No Cobain is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, No Pain, No Cobain, episode 27. So, all right, looking forward to next week. We have Invincible episode 7. I think it's a 9-episode run or 8. I could be wrong, but we're not at the finale yet.
Yeah. Wait, episode 7 for what?
Invincible.
Thank God.
So we'll be at the penultimate episode next week. Falcon and Winter Soldier will be the season finale. We don't have Dark to watch, but I was thinking we could watch Attack the Block, maybe? I don't remember whose recommendation turn it was, but I like that movie a lot. I'm not going to tell you either of you it's a masterpiece, but I thought it was a fun sci-fi movie. Okay. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be in both of your wheelhouses. So we'll watch Attack the Block, and then, we'll see. We'll see what else crops up. I feel like there's some thing coming out soon. Wait, ooh.
Yeah,
is it Mortal Kombat the 23rd?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, that comes out Friday, boys.
Yeah. We got that MK. Yeah. Have you guys heard the new theme song they did for it, where it's like dubstep and
whatever.
bad?
Fuck it.
How do you with all the advances in electronic music in the last 22 years, how do you make a Mortal Kombat theme that sucks in comparison to your 1990 releases Mortal Kombat theme? Breaks my heart.
I don't know. Should have just recut the original.
Uh-huh.
No Cobain.
Pussy.
Courtney Love, Porky Pig. I'm writing it all down, boys.
Perfect.
It's gonna happen.
Excellent.
That's all, folks.
Gentlemen. Well, how about we, Scott? You did quite a good Porky Pig. How about we sign off, and then Scott can lead us out with.
I think you actually do a better Porky Pig.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking good. I do like a Robin Williams doing a pig is what I do.
That's what I think of. Yeah, when Mrs. Doubtfire.
Piss off, Lou. Yeah, that's what I'm emulating here.
All right, Derek, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Everybody, as in everyone, can find me on Twitch and Twitter, whatever your preference is, at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD. Dr. Gloom MD.
Nice. Scott?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook Gaming. I am Swearwolf with an E. That's SWEARWLFE. You can find me on Instagram and Snapchat as well, but you'll never find the bodies.
Good one. I like that.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. My name is Chris. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter. Only those two things. I don't do anything else. At TCN Plays. Yeah. Okay. Here's my sign off. So here's why there was a brief pause. I was like, is there a way I can do and incorporate Courtney Love's Stinky Pussy as my sign off? And I'm not clever enough to do it.
No, it doesn't work.
So I'll just say, how would you rate, if you had to rate Dark as a series from 0 to 10, Courtney Love's Stinky Pussies, how many would you give it, Derek?
I'd say it's one of the stinkiest pussies I've ever encountered in my life.
But no. I feel like less stinky pussies is better though. Like, so would you give it 0 out of 10 stinky?
No,
pussies?
it was a
reverse
1,
scale?
2. Oh, okay, all right. Now it was a very clean pussy. Maybe light jog in the morning, with a little spritz.
Yeah, but clean for Courtney Love. So how clean are we talking still?
I'm really confused by the scale.
I started us off with a handicap just by making this the scale. So, Scott, how many would you give it, or not give it?
I mean, I would say it's during a brief period where Courtney Love was desperate for some kind of purpose and meaning in her life, where she was just letting people come in her in hopes she would have a child she could nurture. in place of the love and respect she couldn't have for herself. So I'm just,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say that like there's been some loads in there. There's a mild yeast infection probably. I would give it probably 3 out of 10 stinky pussies.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I would have to go just a 2 out of 10. I think because I think I didn't hate season 3 as much as Scott. I wouldn't say hate, but I didn't dislike season 3 as much as Scott did. I would have to give it just a 2 out of 10. Stinky, Courtney love pussies.
So if we flip that, that's a 10, a 7, and an 8, right?
Right. Well, yeah, that's yeah.
If they were Paul Rudd dicks, they'd be a 10, a 7, and an 8.
Those are our 2 metrics. Courtney love pussies and Paul Rudd dicks. Welcome to the Cynical Nerd.
Not welcome.
Oh, goodbye. Get out.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Pussy.
Pussy.
All right.